I gotta kill you, you bastard!
Here's the juk. All you see is crooks. Shout out to Havoc, good looking on the beat. Forever P. Street life was good. About to go in, son. Look, red bones and red bottoms. Like Red Bull, we gon' give them wings, we red dot them. Candy rappers, send them in, we red hot them. Headshot them, go against my grain, get head problems. Big dummy, garbage rappers, we red fox them. Shoot an actor in high depth and red box them. Tip the scales in my favor, stay in your top 10. If life's like a triple beam, I'm weighing my options. Y'all like wild meth, you high meth. Keep a big popper, cause I ain't ready to die yet. I digress, or I'm just too intense to digest. Stretched in a Pyrex, compliments to my chef. Game ain't been the same since I left. Is they really crooks or just a pain in my neck? Wu-Tang, ain't no lanes in my set. Fresh pair of Nike Airs, I just do it for my check. I'll be the first to tell these rappers, get your bars up. Shout to P, you know it's havoc when we mob up. I tell that smut, date over, pull your drawers up. Cigar guts, all up in the club, putting squad up. Throw your squad up. Throw your squad up. Throw your squad up. Cigar guts, all up in the club, putting squad up.
I swoop in, shooting like I'm paratrooping. We all in, we riding, we carpooling. My whole crew, we diving, we platooning. Salute me or shoot me, Huey P. Newton. Your buffoonery is quite amusing. This is not monkey business, stop cooning. It's a method to my madness, I know what I'm doing. There's a reason.
Shalom. Welcome back. As in a continuation from earlier today, when I dropped the Leviticus 26 and Ezekiel 18 video, I said this would be a continuation. All right. I mean, obviously, right now, I'm just waiting for the following brothers who might want to pop on to hear my famous breakdown of Joel 3, verse 6. All right. This is Brothers Not at Arms 6. Probably it'd be the ending of, I would say, the Joel 3 and 6 saga. I call it an easy street topic to begin with. I pretty much said my part of my take on the thing, where the other various brothers, they had their shake and takes on the thing. We had originally Great 202 who said this has not been fulfilled. Obviously they homed in on the famous verse 6, which when you picking out a chunk of the scripture to begin with, and you're leaving out the other things that pertain to the context, I can't see how you could even come up with a narrative beyond, some foolery. But I'll let that slide. Then you had the other brothers, brother Aaron, I guess with his comrade Doty. They, have some sayings of it being fulfilled, and I guess they agreed upon one another because it didn't seem like they was first saying that they agreed that it was fulfilled, but then it was fulfilled. It's more like double talk between the two of them. All right. But the thing is, they agreed that it was fulfilled, but their way of it being fulfilled is in a very oddball way, which leaves without any particular scriptures that come later down the road to back things up. But I mean, they would love for it to be fulfilled in their manner according to their narrative, but they were using a lot of scriptures that was prior to it. I would say really Torah based. Here it is, to thinking that that was going to make it be a successful fulfillment, which, hey, to each their own when it comes to that. And then we had a brother EB Bashiachi or something L. He was giving us a synopsis from his Christian background, and he never really gave his actual breakdown. I was trying to save it, you know, for him to do his portion before I did mine, but I guess it didn't actually fulfill into anything. But he's saying it was fulfilled also. So I mean, it's not much that we really need to do to show that this is being was fulfilled literally, but I'll go through it. What I'm gonna do is wait for a couple of brothers to have to pop on so I can do this really once. I don't need to be lingering on an easy topic, easy street topic to begin with. Because, what did I say? I said that it was fulfilled by Babylon, all right? Not saying the Babylonian captivity, but by Babylon, via, you know, Nebuchadnezzar, all right? Leading from various paths. You can use Ezekiel 26 as the starting point to show that Nebuchadnezzar would be the one to, I guess you would say, start it off, and then it goes further out into the territories of Zechariah 14, literally. If you want to look at, what comes afterwards. But this is basically what we're talking about and dealing with is that little bit of chunk of Joel 3, verse 6. I mean, now if we were to look at the bigger picture from the whole entire, I have to say, entire Joel prophecy, that means chapter 1, 2, 3, and some places 4, you know, we get a little bit more place markers to go with, And it still goes back within Babylon and all these other places that I said thereafter. I mean, it's just that it starts, a little before Nebuchadnezzar then. And I'll show that with various scriptures. The thing about context, which is always said, context is key. All you have to do is just let the scriptures itself, by implication, I know many hate that word implication, but they should also learn that the Most High implicates certain things through his scriptural prophets, making it very easy for us to understand of what the saga of the story is about. Okay? I mean, we don't have to add anything from the outside sources and all of that to like really answer certain attributes that's already written in the details. But the thing is, a lot of people don't see that because they don't actually have an understanding of how these scriptures are pretty much answering themselves, and all that. They don't have the knowledge of where to look for the answer, you know, which, knowledge, wisdom, which is another key. It's a saga. So, I mean, why not look to where it comes from? You know what I mean? But like Great Teal too says, he doesn't find it in history. I assume he's referring to traditional history. Well, traditional history may include things, it may not include things. History's always changing. You got archaeologists still looking for things that need to be matched to the biblical narrative, and sometimes takes them years to find it. And some things they find right away. But that does not uh, take away from Joel 3, because you can actually find historical, records of how this and this was fulfilled. I mean, I think I said by the Achaemenid Empire, Yehuda Medinata. I mean, the brother man still didn't see these answers because his mind was set on, I guess, his narrative, wherever he got his narrative. In the way he reads his interpretation and transliteration and all those other things that really don't have nothing to do with this whole entire prophecy was talking about, timeline included. So I'm just gonna sit here, you know, and as a courtesy, kind of wait for any of these guys if they want to hop up on here, so we can pretty much handle these things here. Meanwhile, I'll pull up Joel 3 from the KJV, even though I'll need to probably pull up Septuagint too. Pretty much says the same thing here or there, a little bit of words different. But let me pull it up. See here. Get this on the thing here. Get a starting point. Mhm. Yeah. Starting point going. The starting point is very easy, very, very easy. Well, I got these two brothers in the inbox. Instead of them, you know, coming up on here to discuss this, they want to discuss it like cowards in the inbox, but make up excuses that they can't come on. But yeah, you can hit me up in the inbox. Really? Come on now. That's how we doing things now, brothers. It's so weak. Give a shout out to my brother Alan B, who's lost his aunt a couple of weeks back. I guess he's still recovering. So when he gets back, I'm sure he's going to be informative on this topic too. You know, he's the first half of the Guardians of the Torah. You know, where we pretty much we guard the Torah. You know, in every aspect of how it's written, so that you know brothers and sisters can get a good understanding of what the Torah, which is instructions, is really all about. But anyway, shout out to him. When he gets a chance to come back, you know, he'll be back. He'll be like real hard. I'm waiting for brother Vicar Emerson. He's another good brother that, member of the Guardians of the Torah, the DOA family, and very tough cookie, literally. He's grown severe when it comes down to these scriptures. He's doing a lot of damage out there in the I guess you should say Hebrew heritage world. hmm But anyway, let me pull out this thing here and look at it a few times, a few things about it. Great 202. As soon as you get a chance, brother, hop up on here. Hop up on here. Meanwhile, let me break out a little thing. I mean, I could easily just go directly to the thread of Ezekiel 26 and show why this thing had to be taken care of real quick and end all of this, but just a few things here or there. But I'm not going to do that. Let's let the topic be as an edification matter. Meanwhile, I'll kill some time to these brothers so someone comes on here. You know. Joel chapter 3. Matter of fact, let me just go back to chapter 1 and 2. So to kill two birds with one stone. All right. KJV, of course. The word of the Lord that came to Joel, the son of Stuel, in Septuagint it says Duel, but not much difference in the matter. It says, "Hear this, ye old men, and give ear, all ye inhabitants of the land. Have this been in your days, or even in the days of your fathers?" Question mark. All right, ye. I want you to home in on that word ye. Remember that word ye, because ye is going to be used several times tonight, and it's going to have a meaning. All right, literally means you. Okay, hear this, you old men, and give ear, all you inhabitants of the land. Inhabitants of the land. Well, many of us know that we ain't even in the land right now. And does it matter if we in the land or not? Not really, because we have access to going there anyway. So I mean, let's don't let's don't bullshit each other with that. I know brother grade 202, I asked him a question like last week, could he go? And he turned around and said, yeah, but then he turned around, for a vacation and all that. Oh brother, that's you. Your choice is you believe that the only reason why you can go there is through a vacation. Not exactly true that you cannot go there for any other uh meanings or whatever, events, etc., etc. You just choose to not go there. And that's something to do with your individuality. It has nothing to do with not being able to go. All right? All right? Let's don't bullshit with that. All right? And like I said, keep in mind, remember on that ye or you. Okay? It's a very important thing we're going to need to have an understanding of when I bring out something later on. I mean, like I said, I could use it right now and end all this foolishness, but I'm going to save it. I'm going to wait. All right. Verse 3, tell ye or tell you your children of it, and let your children tell their children and their children another generation. Literally, the audience being spoken of to at that time, we have to assume that Joel, when he was prophesizing pre Babylonian captivity, pre Assyrian captivity, pre, I have to say, uh, before the exile periods of the Babylonian captivity, pre uh, pretty much anything beyond the destruction of the temples. So literally, that puts him as a past prophet to a past generation that would be speaking about generations that go throughout the years, but not far fetched way in the future, as in what time is it now? 2025 and even later. Prophets don't work like that. Prophets don't work like that. Although we have certain sureties that are worded and also could repeat and maybe here or there reappear, but one would have to know what is a surety and one would have to know what is a prophetic pronouncement and what would be the purpose. So Joel talking to a certain audience about certain things that they themselves literally would have no need to even know about, that would go far out into the future for another generations. I would have to say thousands of years later. Doesn't make sense, and it ain't gonna make sense because we don't have any of the heritage prophets doing such. All right, they may think that some of the prophets, old that made prophecies have done that, but if you don't know where they was fulfilled at, then I can understand why you would think that damn shit. All right, let me finish. Verse 4. That which the palmer worm hath left half the locust eaten, and that which the locust hath left hath the cankerworm eaten, and that which the cankerworm hath left hath the caterpillar eaten. Just a bunch of metaphors that's being spoken, not saying that this is literal in any type. I don't know why brothers think everything when they read it is in literal form when it is not. And that's where the problem starts too. When you looking for literal when it ain't written literal. Okay. Although there's some things that are literal when it comes to a prophetic pronouncement, but usually those things are named and specified, specific, specific. All right. Let me see who's at the door. All right, brother for car.
Like, come on, Elder.
All right, all
Yeah,
right. I
no, I'm
said
a
I was
little
going.
late.
That's all right. I said I was going to start this out anyway and kill some time here or there until brothers, get on. I told you, I would wait for you anyway.
Yeah, 10 4.
Yeah, you've been talking about this pretty much all week. It's an easy street topic, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. It's too easy, really. You know,
I
people
don't
just
see
want to
what
make
the
it hard.
yeah, I don't see what the problem is with the brothers with this thing, but I
Yeah.
said I'm gonna break it down, and I'm gonna break it down. I'm really supposed to only really break down that verse 6 of Joel 3, literally.
Right.
But
Right.
it makes no sense just to take a chunk out of a pronouncement, right?
Right.
And break just it down when the whole entire book can be broken down, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Most definitely.
and then they can learn something. They can get some true meat and fruit out of it.
Oh, yeah. We definitely need some true meat and fruit because yeah, this generation here is looking bad.
Very bad.
It's- it's-
Let me still go back over here and see. I don't know where this is. What's funny, right? These brothers, they always like literally pop up like after something is being said, or even when we're done live, right,
Mhm.
to discuss a matter. I mean, I'm not saying Great 202 is quite doing that because I really don't see him unless he's on here, and when he arrives late. So I'm not really like pretty much addressing him. You know what I mean? I'm
Right. Right.
addressing the other guys who are actually made a big deal out of something that is like, really, this is easy street, dudes. Really easy street. You know what I
Right.
mean?
It is. I agree 100% with you. And I think for like most people, we all learning as I would say as a younger generation, we're learning, we're trying to learn, and I feel like the people that are grasping to take hold of wisdom, that's a good thing to do that, and I'm one of them. But
Hmm.
I also feel like a bunch of them get it confused, far as you know instead of being in being teachable and being in a learning mode, it's like they get this start doing this thing about with themselves, like they want to question everything, far as what a real teacher is, and a real a brother that's really giving them knowledge and giving knowledge out. I mean,
Hmm.
and I feel like that's an issue in itself.
Hmm. It's like they inhibit their own growth spur when
Yeah.
when
Yep.
they like refuse. I guess I'm not saying that I'm the most knowledgeable person or anything. I'm just saying, like, this in general, when somebody is there to provide you some type of insight or some type of knowledge, you should be using the things on the side of your head and listen and absorb some of this, so that you could grow even in your thoughts and walk. You know what I'm saying? So that you could later on, you know, be knowledgeable of this topics and various, pronouncements, and you may be able to feed some meat and fruit to others, as you grow. You get what I'm saying? I
Right,
know I
exactly.
always told Brother Allen, I hate that title of being called an elder because it makes you feel like you're, I guess, older, but I gotta get used to it because it actually is not an age that I got this knowledge and understanding. It's because I've been doing this for a while. So
Right.
what I mean, wisdom is starting to shine a lot. So I have to accept that, even though I hate
Right,
it.
right, right. I get it.
I hate it. I hate it. You know what I mean?
That's like counting your birthdays or something, which is something I don't do. I don't really
Hmm.
count my birthdays.
Hmm.
For real. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. And it's like, the biblical texts tell us, if you find a wise man, grasp hold of him and, what I'm saying, be at his door constantly. Hey, man, what's this? What's that? Tell me this. Give me a book. That's how we're supposed to
Hmm.
be, you know.
Hmm.
But these guys, some of these guys, I ain't gonna say everybody, but I mean, you can see who's doing it. They, instead of seeking the knowledge, it's like they want to question, do you really have the knowledge?
Hmm.
Like that's crazy to me.
It became a competition in their minds too.
Right.
I want to be uh the baddest debater on the planet. But do you know what you're debating? The topics? Do you really know it? Or are you just
Right.
just trying to beat or win? When
Yeah.
in actuality, you're not really winning in anything if you don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Exactly. But I'm not.
Hmm.
I'm not afraid to admit it. And some certain topics, I have stumbled before, and it's like, okay,
We all
yeah.
have.
Let me go back to the drawing board, but it's like I'm gonna go again, like the biblical text say. You rebuke a wise man, or what I'm saying, he's gonna grow and learn it, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Hmm.
I pride myself on that, seemingly. So I'm gonna make my mistakes. I'm gonna make error. But I'm gonna come back because I like the research and I generally love wisdom and the study and to listen to people who actually have been studying this literature and know the biblical text. Man, I love it. Like I
Oh,
have a
like
zeal
I
with
said,
that.
it's a historical, what you say, layout of the Hebrew heritage. Like I always say, the saga of the Hebrews. This is their history. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And it's
Written
there.
in the manuscripts.
Right there in the manuscripts. Right.
Hmm. I
It's
mean, yes,
there.
we get a couple of pluses and a couple of minuses outside of it, looking, within, traditional history, but it's not, you know, the most important thing or the whole important matter to look for everything in history. But even though
Right,
with this
right,
topic, you can find it in history. That's the thing that
right,
puzzles me. Grade 202 could not find it.
right. That because I hate to say I respect Great 202, but I feel like you don't want to find it. Like, that's just how I feel because it's there and it's in multiple books in the Bible. Just
Hmm.
to name one is it's in Ezekiel, it's in Jeremiah, like you
Hmm.
said, it's in Job, like, and it's even in the book of Psalms that I found out this evening. So,
Yes, it's in the
like,
Psalms. It's written all over the place, throughout.
right,
But the reason why I gave them the first pointing for the match was when we get to Joel, chapter 3, starting at verse 4, right? It gives us some implication points, and that's the key implication point. I know a lot of the brothers like Aaron and maybe Jody, they hate when I say implication, but they have to understand when something is implicated, it's telling on itself.
Right. Right.
I mean,
Right.
you don't have to really go all through this and that and that. And it's when it's already telling you from right off the bat, right?
Right.
Okay, you
Yeah,
know,
I agree. Mhm. I feel
it's
like
crazy.
too, like me myself, I listen to you and a couple other elders, and I also listen to other outside sources just to see what they be talking about. And I feel like with one of the things that the other persuasion likes to talk about is that what's the rules history. They don't know their history, so they use that in a way to try to undermine that
Mm-hmm.
we don't exist. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't I don't like that. But in that same breath, the history is there. you
Mm-hmm.
just you just got to know what you're reading.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
History
Exactly.
there. So
Sort of like how they, I guess, the hardcore Christian tries to, I guess, set up traps for those that are just new with the Torah. I
right,
call it the Christian traps. Like
right,
your Isaiah 42 and 52, 53, 54, 55, all those spots.
right,
Because you get like a different statements that Isaiah. And I always say that it's not actually Isaiah that's doing these things. This is later students of Isaiah or studious ones that follow Isaiah that's like mimicking his work, first,
right,
second, and third Isaiah's, but
right.
they won't grasp an understanding of that because when you say things like that, which is totally new to their mindset, they're not really used to that just yet. And of course they reject, you know what I'm saying? But I throw them these type of hints so they can go out and do their own
Research.
research. And then they
Right.
would come back with it and say, "Oh, you know what? True. He wasn't
Hmm.
he wasn't making this up." You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You know what I'm saying? Just like even Zechariah. Zechariah is an after fact writing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just that we got things canonized and we're taking it as, everything that we see in the accepted form as far as Torah and Tanakh is, chronologically and this and that set. But you got to remember, we
Hmm.
wasn't the ones that actually canonized these books.
Right. Right.
I mean, we accept them.
Hmm.
We accept them because there's nothing so far that we could find to say that they're not legit. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? We have to all agree with that. But yes,
Hmm.
and then I could try to tell these guys with interpretation and translations and transliteration, you got room for error in the way these writings appear, especially when it comes to English.
Right.
You know what I mean? And don't we know that the language of English is always changing? There's always growth to it. Something
Right.
that may didn't have no meaning last week now, even through slang, become part of the English language.
Right. They do. They add slang every day. So
Hmm.
what they call it, urban dictionary. Yeah, the
Urban
urban dictionary.
dictionary, yes, indeed. 50 years from now, if somebody see an urban dictionary, they would probably have an understanding that, oh, that's how that came about. That's why I always say too, you look at the etymology of some of these words, because
Right.
those etymology, uh, dictionaries have born on dates of like the first usage of these words. You know what I mean? Which
Hmm.
yeah, literally, you're talking about transliterating from an ancient text to a
Right.
modern times. You gotta
Right.
expect certain things that going to be different when we try to
Hmm.
interpret it.
Cause they basically try to come up with a term that basically mirrors what the original term was. So it's gonna be
Hmm. Hmm.
slightly, different. You
Hmm.
know, and
Example like the
I
word
get it.
forever or everlasting or
Right.
uh, when it's audience, that's being spoken to of something that's going to they're going to be such and such forever.
Hmm.
They have to understand that they were talking to a generation, and for that generation that or that era, right,
Hmm.
forever did come for them.
Right.
But when you get
Oh,
outside of that particular generation, you have another generation that comes along. You get what I'm
right.
saying?
Oh
And
yeah, I get it.
it's
That's just like the word that you were saying earlier that you don't like is elder. I would
hmm
say ancient. You know what I'm saying? Like ancient. Or good key or damn ancient of days.
hmm
Like people don't understand that
exactly.
ancient of days is like everlasting.
hmm hmm
But you know,
exactly. I mean, this topic though, the Joel 3, I would say not just verse 6 is a very good topic, topic of
right.
discussion. But you got to think about this. Throughout the years, nobody has gotten it yet. I mean, I'm sure that someone has
Yeah.
got it. I'm not the first. We're not the first that
No, we're not.
got this. I mean, but
Yeah.
it's so weird. It feels so weird that, like I said, to us, it's kind of an easy street topic, but
Right.
to many, it's like difficult, complex,
Because
perplexed.
that idol blinding them. Jesus
hmm
blinded them in the highway.
hmm
That's what it is. Man,
hmm
crazy.
But like I said, I was building from actually uh Joel 1 to bring it up to lead to it. Since you're on now, we might as well go ahead and make this a more of a full experience. You get what I'm saying?
Right,
'Cause like I
right,
said,
right.
to really kill the cat, the end of Joel 3 verse 6, I could just like I said what I said last week, go to Ezekiel 26 and I
Right.
drop a bomb in that
Drop the
that
nuke.
that quickly. And they wouldn't be
Nuke
able to
town.
say anything about it.
Right. Yeah, I don't get it.
hmm
Yeah, man. I doubt if anybody hop up here they want to talk about that subject now because yeah, I'm pretty sure it's self-explanatory. It's
Yeah,
too many prophets talk about it, man. And
yeah, exactly.
so
That's the thing too. As when you say, and I said to you, really kind of opening up a can of whip ass when you're dealing with
right.
topics like this, and it lingers around and lingers around because guess what? People put their foot in their mouth and they go and they check certain things and they say, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Hmm.
whoa. Guess what? Someone was actually right.
Right.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
What they statements that they made, now it's already on print. Like I said,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
I'm DOA. I'm used to getting guys to come on and kind of make a fool out of themselves, and then later on, bring it back to them so they can see where they was wrong at. You know what I'm saying? And never
Right.
myself give them anything and save it for times like this.
Like, I'm, yeah, I ain't on the cap, So it's like I'm kind of cautious of what I say because it's like if you're not sure, then ask somebody and ask for the proper research to go and look it up yourself, or
hmm
just come humbly and be like, yeah, you was right, I was wrong. That's the best approach, to anything that a man might say that's wrong. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look. I admit, I make it hard for them because I am arrogant, but I'm only arrogant in a good way to like stir things up or rattle them. You know what I mean?
Right,
At the
right,
same
right,
time, I'm a very humble, at teaching these pronouncements. So they have to kind of sort of balance it out. You know what I'm saying? If you
right.
attack me, you think I'm going to just sit there? No, I'm gonna attack you back 10 times harder. You know what I'm saying? But in the end, after I, strike my blows, will usually knock you down to the bottom. I usually build you back up. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why I
That's the
have the
correct
problem
way
with
to do it.
someone calling me an elder because it kind of doesn't fit my physique. You know what I'm saying? Because I do
Yeah.
have a little bit of arrogance, but
Right,
it's,
right.
it's it's in a good form. It's not the bad form.
I don't think that's arrogance. I think that's zeal. And a lot of people don't like that type of zeal. That's what I feel. Cause, I'm a certain extent, I'm the same way, especially if I know I'm right and if I know how to put in the hour and the time and study the
Mm-hmm.
subject. You ain't never you can tell me that is wrong because I know I studied and I
Mm-hmm.
double checked it and ask people that know. So it's like, yeah, people don't like for you to be right
Mm-hmm.
because
Yes, the
of
term.
jealousy.
Some term says, "Let's validate this." When you
Yeah,
checking something, you validating it to make sure
right,
that you're right. You're not just saying it and then
right,
you want it to be right. You validate it.
right. And if I don't know, I'll ask a question. I put a
Mm-hmm.
question mark like, hey, what about this? you know, but it don't
Mm-hmm.
matter if you come humbly as possible and tell the person the truth. They still gonna be have mixed feelings about it just because it might have came from you. Maybe because they want to be the one to bring out this truth so they can have this type of fame or something.
Yeah,
And
that could
that's not a
be
good
it.
way to
That could
be.
be it too. That could
Oh
be it.
yeah.
I thought about that too earlier. When I earlier I dropped the Leviticus 18. I keep saying Leviticus 8. The Leviticus
Oh yeah. The
26,
other earlier show.
right in the Ezekiel 18. I did that kind of on purpose so that it'll be on print that if anybody was to have stated that would have been me, then I have to, to recognize that. No other reason, because I do
Right.
know that brothers they do come, they come, they watch our videos and podcasts and everything. They learn from it. They
Oh
won't
yeah.
say that they do, but
Right.
later on you'll see it like
Oh
on
yeah.
some other platform that they bringing out what we have already stated and I've already said.
Exactly, they do. I see it all the time, and what they don't realize, if we're Israel, and we know that the Most High is dealing with us and giving us certain spirit of wisdom. It's gonna show if somebody else repeat it, even
Mm-hmm.
though they deny it, because nobody
Mm-hmm.
else has brought out that the perception of it. And then it's like, oh no, this guy here, he's doing it now. Like, okay, where do you get that from? And then the next reason how you know, because they'll try to teach that same, teaching you're teaching, but they won't be as experienced, as you are in it. Like they wouldn't
Yep.
know all the steps to it,
Yep.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
obvious.
Mm-hmm.
It's obvious, real obvious.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Let me put that Joel 3 back up on there. Oh, I should say Joel 3, Joel 1 back up there. Because you came in, but you came in now. You should be caught up to where I'm at, and we could just break the whole thing down. I mean, when we get to 6, I'm gonna go directly to Ezekiel 26 and drop the bomb, and then we're gonna still continue. All right, I stopped at verse 5. Right,
Okay.
it says, "Awake ye drunkards and weep, and how all ye drinkers of wine, because of the new wine, for it is cut off from your mouth." For a nation is come up upon my land, strong and without number, whose teeth are the teeth of a lion, and he hath the cheek teeth of a great. I stop on that real quick, and because we've gotten scriptures and pronouncement from scriptures, like plethora of them, that tells us directly who that is, what that is.
Right.
Okay. Now, this is where they misunderstand what we're saying here. I'm saying Babylon, right, is that lion. I'm saying Babylonia is that lion. Okay. But the thing is, they get it misconstrued because they don't know when and where and the person of Babylon I'm referring to.
Hmm.
Because they don't understand there's a neo Babylon that's in Syria in Babylon.
Right.
I can name names. Under Sennacherib, and then you have a later Babylon
Hmm.
under Nebuchadnezzar. But
Yep.
that's all one thing combined
Right.
with the other nations that also are part of Babylonia too.
Yep.
The enemies were also part of Babylonia. I mean,
Right.
you talk about a world at that time frame that pretty much everyone rolled with one another. You know, Egypt dealt with it. You know, Edom dealt with. You know what I'm saying? Moab
Mhm.
dealt with. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Ammon dealt with, and unfortunately, Judah dealt with.
Yep.
Southern kingdom wise, in the northern kingdom, you know, Israel dealt with. So I mean,
Mhm.
like, you can't really bake one cake and just say this cake belongs to, you know, because it's all of them, all of the combo. But when you go
Right.
outside of that skirt and you talk about uh nations that's like worldwide nations,
Mhm.
well, we gotta stop, think about this. When we're reading in that book, we're reading about a local group of nations, local to
Right.
that area, local to that surrounding. So, like, you can turn around and say Nineveh. You can turn around and you can say
Right.
the Philistines or Phoenicians,
Border to border, basically.
border to border. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I mean, you can go to, like, sometimes even the Javanites, or say the Ionians. Or I'm just saying words of the Grecians in
Right.
reverse on this one. In reverse, you could say, like, even though Dan was part of the Israelite nation, but the
Mhm.
Danites, right? This
Right.
is a gem. It's also separated too. They've done some things, right?
Right.
But I can't turn around and say uh, America. I can't say Russia. I can't say Mexico. I can't say Canada because that has nothing to do with this topic.
Yeah, that's a
All
whole
right.
nother topic.
I hope Brother Great 202 catches some understanding of what I'm saying. Because if
Oh
he
yeah.
could, he should.
America ain't Israel.
hmm hmm
Not Jerusalem.
Right. Yeah. You're dealing with, like, you know, narratives and new doctrines and stuff like that. That, yeah, we could talk about modern times, things that match and mix, that fit with these. But
Mhm.
these pronouncements wasn't made for those. These pronouncements were made for those nations during those times. All right. Number
Right.
7. He hath laid my vine waste and barked my fig tree. He hath made it clean bare and cast it away. The branches thereof are made white. Lament like a virgin girded with sackcloth for the husbands of her youth. The meat offerings and drink offerings is cut off from the Lord. Priests, the Lord's ministers mourn. How could you not know this, knowing, say, if you read more into the saga, you know, way beyond this, the things that come up? Because you gotta also remember, you have to read beyond this to get this understanding of these pronouncements. You can't
Right.
just read this and things that was also played a part. You'd have no understanding of. That's why I say you can go back to Second Kings 16, 17, 18. I can start from Second Kings 14. I think last week you even went as far as you stated Ahab time, and time of Jezebel time, man.
All of it tied
All
together.
those tied together,
All of it.
connected.
Kings of Judah. Like he was saying, Elijah, he was right in the mix of it too. You
hmm
know. That's what they ain't understand. You gotta read them that we said that with the first and second Kings to, really get it. So
hmm hmm
all them jokers and like I was saying, I was talking to you about it. I didn't realize Jezebel was in it too. So it's
Oh
like
yes,
he plays a
exactly.
part in it also. So guy
It's that
better
whole idea that
read that
Bell's
history.
character, Bell.
Yup.
Even some,
Bells.
hmm but
Mhm.
they miss all of these things when they only looking at things that they see modern wise, but yet
Right.
don't know the history within the book itself.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. What I left off at verse 11. I'm gonna speed things up a little bit. All right, just to get to a certain thing, like verse 14, 15, 16. Sanctify ye a fast, call a solemn assembly, gather the elders and all the inhabitants of the land into the house of the Lord your God, and cry unto the Lord.
Right.
Alas for the day of the Lord is at hand, and as a destruction from the Almighty shall it come. All right. Is it not meet to cut off before our eyes, yea, joy and gladness from the house of our God? Question mark. The seed is rotten under their clods. The garners are laid desolate. The barns are broken down, for the corn is withered. Didn't I mean? I know you know, I know, but didn't we read similarities? And I'm saying similarities on purpose here. But didn't we read some of this history here in Jeremiah
Yes,
27?
sir.
I mean, we read some of this. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's
funny
there.
that I always pick, like, say, the direct hits, like I said, Ezekiel 26, but we could go back through in Jeremiah. He's
Mhm.
showing things that pertain to Joel.
Right.
Isaiah saying things that pertain to Joel. Uh,
Right.
even Micah, I would say Micah 4 pertains to things Joel. Uh, I mean, it's like a long list of pertainments to Joel. The funny thing is, Joel, like I asked brothers, the timeline where Joel would have been doing his prophetic pronouncements, obviously
Mhm.
would have laid him down as probably one of the first prophets of Judah. Put him
So yeah.
in the time frame of like Elisha, you know what I'm saying, and Elijah, that
Mhm.
time frame. So
Right.
of course, when you said Ahab and all that stuff like that, I would have to have agreed with you, but I just stopped you on purpose because I didn't want them to
Mhm.
lose their minds and not
Yeah,
grasp what the
I get
standard
it.
of this thing.
I ain't mad about it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They already when they listen in, they only listen in for the things that they don't quite understand, and they think they can make a mockery out of like things that come out of our mouth later on. Like when I said Babylon, right? He thought I was saying Babylon in captivity, and then he turned around and when it was time for them to do their little take on it, they sat up there and try to make mockery of me in the background. You know what I'm saying? I had to stick my face in it. I said, no, 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 no. You're not putting me on the spot or anything. You just not understanding what I stated and the reason
Right.
why I
Right.
stated it. In other words, I'm saying, y'all ain't slick. You can't badmouth me.
Oh yeah.
I only speak from my own mouth. I don't need anybody putting words in my mouth. All right? I didn't even say what y'all was saying it, but you're trying to be slick with that. But I'll let it be. Fun is fun.
Mhm.
Fun is fun.
Oh
But
yeah.
that's how it is. Like when you tell them some certain things and they run with it, I guess because their minds is not on learning what are you talking about.
Right.
They're looking for something to what you call it
To
to
pick apart
to
or
pick
debate.
apart.
Yeah, it's a difference. There's a difference between learning and just trying to find something to pick somebody apart just because you might want to make them look bad or
Hmm.
gather yourself some fame. And that's what people don't understand. And
Fast fame at
it's
that.
yeah, don't last.
Hmm. Fast fame at that. Like it was funny. I said Ezekiel 26 in there, and then all of a sudden, do what they did take. They ended up sliding through with Ezekiel 16. And I didn't
Mhm.
say that. I said Ezekiel 26. But there are some gems that you find in Ezekiel 16. And as the brother was reading what he was reading, he was looking hard for something that would, I guess, make it more something easy for him to replace it with his narrative. But as further and further he was getting into it and deeper as he was reading into it, it was basically all it was doing was making the point that I stated. But yeah, he took a nosedive because I kind of, started to say to him that what you're trying to use that for to formulate something for the future, you have to realize that Ezekiel in captivity, already in exile, all right, is basically
Right.
talking about things of the past, of the past. the past.
Right.
So if it's something of the past being spoken of, when we go to that great question, did Joel 3 verse 6 take place already? You have to say fulfilled.
Right, and I think that's a main stumbling block. For some reason, the other persuasion and even some brothers they still trying to look for a coming Messiah for some reason, or
Hmm.
a future where all the nations are destroyed, and that's just not a ever was a biblical fact. There's no I have never seen any time or what is spoke about in the prophets or the biblical text saying that God's gonna destroy all of mankind besides Israel, and I think that's what
Hmm.
they stuck on.
Well, you know what? Since we said the other persuasions, let's not to knock them, but like say if we were to go with traditional Christianity, right, as that persuasion, traditional Christianity would also have to go with the fulfilled side too. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because within their text, right, within their text, it's Joel is used like in the Book of Acts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It Day of Pentecost and all that stuff like that. You know what I'm
Oh, yeah, I
saying?
can
With
see
nations and stuff
that.
gathered and all that. So they would
Yeah,
have no choice but to turn around and say it's fulfilled as well.
right.
You
I
know what I
do
mean?
see
But
that.
unfortunately they would not want to do that on this particular channel because you know how we do New Testament.
Right.
We pick that apart like a bird that's hungry. So, you know. So really to me, it's only a very few that would try to use this as not being fulfilled. And like I said, that's only based off of bad translations and bad transliteration of
Right.
words. It's not based off of what the scriptures are saying. It's based off of what their feelings are about it. What
Right. Right.
they
Right.
see, you know, I guess from learning from I guess TikTok scholarships and other bad, you know, because
Learning
everything's
from
funny.
learning from
Yeah.
what the crowd, like they say in their own book, they follow the huge crowds of popularity and let them, confuse them and trick them. That's what that is.
Hmm. Yeah. Let me get back on this. I mean, we like I said, we're just gonna have fun with it a little bit. To be honest with you, because in the end, how this is fulfilled and etc. It's funny. 19. O Lord, to thee will I cry, for the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and the flame hath burned all the trees of the field. O Lord, to thee will I cry. That means that somebody within this narrative of writing, right, is also part of this situation. You know, the
Right.
little hints like that. You can't be a prophet and at the same time be part of the feature unless you are part of what's going on, and you would not be prophesizing with yourself in it unless it's something that's taking place during your
Right.
time. You
That's a
get what I'm
great
saying?
statement. Right.
Timeline is everything. Context is
Right.
key. I keep saying this. I'm gonna say it again. Timelines is everything. Context is key. Right.
Right.
Verse 20. The beasts of the field cry also unto thee, for the rivers of waters are dried up, and the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness. The beasts of the field, the beasts, the other nations that are involved with Babylonia.
Right.
The It's metaphor, it's figurative, but it's
Right.
specific. You know what I mean? We're gonna see that when we go to those spots in the other prophets' mouths, no doubt. All right, that completes that one. All right, I mean, looking at that, one would have to be a cuckoo bird to not see that this is not talking about events pertaining with Babylon. All right,
Right.
locusts, the armies, palmer worm was before them. The locusts would be. So it's saying something from the past that went on that the next I guess
And
you can say
Nineveh
fulfilling comes in. Exactly. See how you
and
caught that?
Syria.
How you caught that?
Mm-hmm.
Not literal palmer worms, because what the hell is a palmer worm?
Right.
not a literal cankerworm, not
Right.
literal locust,
The,
not a
bil-
literal caterpillar. It's
the
metaphors.
biblical book translates itself. People just don't see it.
hmm Verse 3, tell your children of it and let your children tell their children and their children another generation. This is generational things of the past. Okay? Yep. Goes back to that point of, like you said, Elisha, Elijah, Ahab, the original Baal,
Hmm.
all the way to the ending, the key thing, the ending of
You,
Baal.
you, you know, it's something I realized too, like with reading it, how they kind of confused with dealing with history. The Baals or Baal, they would take the name Baal and rename themselves Baal. So they'd have Baal 1, 2, and 3 and Bellis.
Mm.
Then they went from Bellis to Beelzebub,
Yeah, I
all
mean,
that
well,
stuff.
you know, Beelzebub is in there.
Hmm.
Jewish fables have used that, I should say.
Right.
Hellenized Jewish fables use that Beelzebub. I
Yep.
think even if you know the story of what's that damn thing that the Greeks came up with, Zeus and
To my Baal and the Dragon.
no. That's another different
That-
portion. Like what's that
yeah.
thing? Oh man, a Greek thing with Zeus, Perseus,
Oh,
that thing with the horns. You know that they got a horse body.
a Minotaur or something.
Yeah, like a minotaur. That's a Baal too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, because of the
Agilon.
horns and yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. They did worship the bull.
yeah. Clash of the Titans. Clash of
Clash
the
of the
Titans.
Titans.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
When this is going back into the ancient Greek world, Hellenized ancient Greek. You know, they make mythology, right?
Right, mythology, right.
They use this this Bell character even in that because obviously
Right,
in the end the Greeks did conquer the Achaemenid Empire, right? So
right,
when they did that, they absorbed all of their historical data and they made mockery with it. This is another
right.
further stamp on fulfilled. If anything. But these guys, they don't know these things. 'Cause, just outside of the book, you got TikTok.
TikTok leads you astray.
Lead you astray. All right, let me go
Mhm.
to the next chapter. This is easy street. You might as well just go ahead and do it.
Oh yeah,
Blow
you might
ye
as
the
well.
trumpets in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, but it is nigh at hand. The problem that they have, right?
Mm,
Understanding that the day of the Lord is not like just one particular time. The day of the Lord has
exactly.
happened several times over. And
I
each time that
100%
has
agree.
happened, right, it was during a great war at the time of the
Hmm.
saga of Israel. I mean, that's why I said when you can go back to when he said Micah 5 in his event, that gave me that trigger. You talking about the day of the Lord that came is when Hezekiah's time frame, right?
Right,
And then that was under the Assyrian uh occupation, literally. And we know that the Syrian occupation, we get Sargon, right?
yep.
Previously to the later Sennacherib. That's written in the narrative of the story. And we know Sennacherib is what? It's also was a king of Babylon, Assyria
Mm,
and Babylon, Assyria and Babylon, Neo Babylon,
right.
before Nebuchadnezzar, Babylon. So this right here, blow ye the trumpets in Zion, sound an alarm in my holy mountain, let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of
Numbers.
clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There have not
Mm,
been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Mm,
mm.
mm, mm. Babylon, Babylon.
Oh yeah.
A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape. Nothing shall escape the Babylonian armies. At that time, nothing escaped it. Nothing escaped it. The appearance of
Right.
them is as the appearance of horses, and as the horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the top of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. The funny thing is, I'm reading this, right? I'm
Uh,
not reading it as actually prophecy anyway. I'm reading it as surety. And you
right.
know me, when I say surety, surety is something that was sure
Good
to
happen.
take place, right? And,
Uh,
and nothing you could do one way or the other to stop it. Looking at
right.
the Hebrew records of how the Hebrews, the ancestors have obviously done things in the past that required recompense on their asses. The Most High, we said it's going to be the time for payback, and this is why the day of the Lord is important. He used different armies to recompense Israel on their asses, right? Literally. I have to say that part literally because that's what he
Oh
did,
man.
right?
It's,
And we're reading it metaphorically
right. I think
of it taking place.
a
Hmm.
lot of brothers don't realize that and you pointed it out on the last show that the Most High gave them the power to do those things. So that's a surety to tell you that you're not gonna escape, you know,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
judgment.
Exactly. That judgment. Wait. You just said what? That judgment, right?
Right.
That judgment.
Most
It's
High gave it
crazy.
to them to judge us when we was in
Hmm.
our wrong and the kings of Judah was deep, deep into, you know, idolatry and the worship of Astra, well, that lizard god and all of that silly stuff. And it's
You
in
gotta say that.
Ezekiel. Yeah. I ain't
You
want to
gotta-
call his name because I
No,
got a
no,
bad
no. You
habit of
ain't doing
doing
nothing
that.
wrong with saying it. It's just that
Yeah.
you give it out of gems for these jokers and they gonna
Yeah.
run with it. Oh, he said it as I was done, all that, all this and that. This
Hmm.
dude's gonna pull horns by the wrong side.
In the book of Ezekiel, it tell you about it. So
Hmm. 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 Verse 6, before their face the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather black. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Because you got to remember, you're not gonna just straight up like run from battle. You're gonna try to at least fight something, and that's what happened. Because Israel had armies too. All right.
right.
And the funny thing is, the Most High is kind of like dirty in one sense when he's like creating calamity.
Oh yeah.
He uses the enemy. He
Yep.
sends the enemy. He's on their side, and he also is on your side too.
Right.
That's dirty, don't you
Yeah.
think?
It's dirty, but it's righteous because the stuff that they be doing is wild.
Hmm.
What they did was wild. It
Neither
was
one
wild.
shall trust another. They shall walk everyone in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city calamity. They shall run upon the wall, and they shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief calamity. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. That's metaphorical. That's
Uh-huh.
literal. That's also what you call anamorphic.
Right.
We've didn't we have, I think, last week even a blood moon, if you think about it.
Yo, yeah, man.
I mean, this
Yes,
is like
sir.
normalities, if you want to think about it. It's not something
Heathens.
out of the ordinary. It's just that these things happen, in a form that when they write it down, the literal part is what blinds a lot of jokers when they don't have an understanding. The earth shall quake before them. I mean, you hear a lot of noise of an army coming through, that's going to sound like a quake,
Quake.
right?
Right. Right.
The heavens shall tremble, meaning like you can look up things. It's going on. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Nothing to do, right?
Uh-huh.
And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army. Notice that. Utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. or he is strong that executed his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible. Who can abide? Question. I have to say, no one.
Right. None.
No one. No one.
Right.
Therefore also now saith the Lord, turn ye, that word ye, I want them to learn that you, turn ye even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning. And rend your heart and not your garments, and turn unto the Lord your God, for he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repenteth him of the evil. So Joel, when he's saying that, right?
Right.
Verse 12, right? The timeline of Joel, right?
Uh,
Hint, 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 hint. Joel had to be, you know, in that timeline himself. So do we see Joel today in this
no.
timeline? No,
Well,
right?
this timeline.
No, because this is past. This is
Right.
past. Right. Now I can't turn around and say exactly that Joel existed during the time of Elisha and not existed during the time of the exile, because even the scholars can't even answer that.
Right.
Because
They don't. They
there's no
don't.
actual dating within the book of Joel. Period. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
we have to live with it. And I understand the brothers don't want to use Josephus, or they don't want to use Herodotus. They don't want to use these European sources. I get that. I get it.
Right.
But sometimes you have to use your own mind too and think. We don't have any actual true dating to say one way or the other what timeline he was in. But we do know this. He ain't in today's timeline. All of this is of the past for us. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? So that's
Right.
why it's crucial when we look at this pronouncement. We got to look at it with scrutiny.
Uh,
We got to look at it with scrutiny, all right?
right.
And that's why I do. Me, if you ask me personally, I believe it's through the timeline of Elisha, and it fits the narrative. And at the
Oh
same time,
yeah.
it ties into the timeline of the exile at the same time. It ain't changed much.
Uh-huh.
These pronouncements they
It's a,
go, but we do know the rules of how a prophet is anyway. That it has to meet within that timeline, and it's no way around it. Unless it's a surety in there, which there is sureties there, but there's also prophetic language in here too that is locking it to that key timeline.
right.
You were saying something. No, I don't know. I was interrupting you.
I was just I'm trying not to throw out too many gems in there myself, honestly. So I can't hold water when it comes to gems. But I was gonna say I still don't know should I say it, but I was gonna say like for us what is it, Ahab or whatever his name, Acab or whatever his name was with
Mhm.
Jezebel, they did have
But
sons.
it's determined from whatever source you use. Septuagint, it may say Acab, but it didn't.
Hmm.
Masoretic text is Ahab. But you're absolutely
Right.
correct. You're absolutely
Hmm.
correct.
Yeah, and so correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Ahab or Jezebel have sons also, and they technically was Judah,
Absolutely.
right? So those
Absolutely.
sons was played a part in the wickedness also.
Hmm.
Sons of Jezebel and Ahab.
Hmm. Yep. Who knoweth if he will return and repent and leave a blessing behind him, even a meat offering and a drink offering unto the Lord your God? Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly. Gather the people, sanctify the congregation, assemble the elders, gather the children, and those that suck the breast. Let the bridegroom go forth of his chamber, and the bride out of her closet. You're talking about the virgins, the new people, and I'm saying virgin. I'm not talking about like a virgin that ain't never had sex. I'm talking about virgins,
Right.
though. Meaning the youth, the next
Right.
generations that to come. I'm talking
Mm,
about. I'm talking about the, newborns.
right.
Let the priests, the ministers of the Lord, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say, "Spare thy people, O
Mm,
Lord, and give not thine heritage to reproach, that the heathen shall rule over them. Wherefore should they say among the people, where is their God?" Question.
right.
You know, I'm gonna say this in light of all the captivities that we have been in, the major
Uh,
captivity, Syrian captivity, right?
uh,
Eh, Babylonian captivity, and even let's assume that we can say we're in a captivity right now.
uh.
The Most High is with us too in this captivity.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that is for sure.
Hmm. He's in it because you know what? He plays the calamity portion, the portion that wake our asses up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You think he may turn his back on us, but he's still listening in for somebody to repent. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? He's there
And grasp
listening.
the truth.
Hmm. He's there.
Oh yeah.
These I guess new age uh, narrative pushers, they don't realize that because they only see being outside of the scope of land and being under situations that they have no control over, thinking that
Right.
they have no connection with the Most High. But that can't be possibly true. You know why? Because
Uh,
we're not the ones that got ourselves put into any of these captivities to begin with. We are the
right.
result. And I keep saying it to these guys. We are the new seed, the remnant,
The
and we
root.
obviously have a chance because we're still in the covenant portion. That's why I did that portion earlier today with Leviticus
Uh,
26 and Ezekiel 18. You know, I did that
uh,
for purpose because that connects. Even though I know these two jabonis, they don't see the connection, but all these scriptures connect to one another because it's part of the saga of the house of Israel. Just got to know
right.
when to use it. All right. Where is their God? He's with us. All right. Then will the Lord be jealous for his land and pity his people? You know, go back to Egypt, right?
Uh,
That was one of the captivities that was not brought on the people from things that they did. This was something that happened to these people by no reason of anything, right?
uh,
And when we look at it and pity his people, he sees us like when he's punishing us, he's got that belt out, he's whipping us. He
right.
sees, he knows that not all of us, you know, obviously are going to wake up. Some need to be destroyed, but others, you know, go
Yeah,
cry out.
sad but true.
Go cry out. Please save me. Please, please give me another chance.
Uh,
You know, and he can't resist because he's merciful, right?
right.
And you know, that's an attribute that even himself, I guess, you know, can't speak for the Most High, but you know, he tells us, you know, tells us, then will the Lord be jealous for his land and pity his people, and pity his people.
Right.
Yea, the Lord will answer and say unto his people, behold, I will send you corn and wine and oil, and ye shall be satisfied therewith, and I will no more make you reproach among the heathen. It's not talking about overall Israel. He's talking about the ones that are during this calamity time,
Right.
the survivors, the ones that do get it. You know, obviously, even after those that get it, there's gonna be another nation that comes along of
Oh yeah.
generations to say that don't get it, and this saga starts all over again. I mean, what can
It's
we
just
do
that
about that?
surety.
The surety, exactly. You can't do nothing about it. 20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea, and his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he has done great things. It's funny, like I
Uh,
said earlier, that the Most High uses the enemy. He puts the enemy up to it. You know, the enemy is even his servants too.
right.
What did they say in Isaiah 45? I create good and I create
Right. Like
evil.
great evil. Right. But
Yeah,
a lot of people use that, try to say, he's wicked, but that's just not what that means.
Marcionites.
He's righteous in all his acts.
Marcionites.
And there's
Right,
always a
right.
reason why he does it, because the people are, become wicked. They become evil,
Mm-hmm.
tainted, and doing evil, like burning their own sons to death and craziness.
hmm hmm Exactly. You go to Jeremiah, you can read some of that.
Right.
Time frames. The Valley of Gehenna and all that stuff. Fear not, O land, be glad and rejoice, for the Lord will do great things. Surety, surety, surety. Be not afraid, ye beasts of the field, for the pastures of the wilderness do spring. For the tree beareth her fruit, the fig tree and the vine do yield their strength. I mean, it's a wondrous thing that you can kind of see, like even some of the so-called enemies. Not all of the enemies going to stay the enemies. Some are going to become part of the gathering, and we'll see
Uh-huh.
how that pans out later on in some of these chapters. Chapters, different pronouncement by different prophets. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We'll see these things. All right, be glad then, Zion, and rejoice in the Lord your God, for he has given you the former rain moderately. He will
Mm.
cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain, and the latter rain in the first month. Now, even though this right here is giving you a timeline, but if you look at the italics of that word month there, I could probably go over it. It looks like it's italicized. That's an
Uh-huh.
addition. That's an addition.
Uh-huh.
Because no man knows when the Most High is going to give us uh, good tidings and
Right.
rain and this and that. It's just that's what he does in his season. I said that earlier in my earlier podcast. No man
Uh-huh.
knows. All right. But
Right.
as you can see that this in the italics, that's a transliteration. I know might have been put there on purpose. Who knows?
Uh-huh.
But we do know that no prophet is going to actually know that unless it's specific. All right.
Right.
And in italics, that's not specific. All right. Doesn't mean that we should reject the book, though. I have to say that. I have to say
Right.
that.
You got to put that in there.
Many a couple along and say, "Well, True said this and this and that. We should reject the book," because in their heart they want to reject it because they don't understand the
Right.
book. And the beginning of that whole thing is what they want to do, not what I'm saying to do.
Right.
Because I roll with all of these, because all of these prophets books we have that's written in our Torah and Tanakh that's on the Hebrew heritage, I keeps them all. Okay,
Right.
I may reject the Hellenized writings. I may reject the Roman Greco writings because that's not our heritage.
Right. Right.
And nowhere in none of our Torah tells us to accept none
Uh-huh.
of that.
Right.
And
But like
nowhere
you
in our
said, you got
Tanakh
to
history,
scrutinize it.
right? You get what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Abomination desolation is a hit. That's why I don't accept that shit. But
Right.
it's crazy. And the floor shall be full of wheat, and the fat shall overflow with wine and oil. This is more of a surety. And I will restore to
Right.
you the years. You can see that clear if you know
Uh-huh.
what it's giving you indication. I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten, the cankerworm, and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. See that? My
Mm.
great army. Who
There it
sent
is
these
right there.
within the
There it
text?
is.
Within the text. So all we have to do really is literally go and find these armies written in other prophets'
Exactly.
mouths. And if this was to be a debate, it's pretty much over, right?
Right.
Because you have scripture chunks, I have scripture chunks, we all have scripture chunks to prove this matter, and we didn't have to use not an ounce of history,
That's
right?
25 verses. That's a good key there.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it again.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna read it again. And I will restore to you the years. I'm gonna say it again. The years
Uh-huh.
that the locusts have eaten, the cankerworm,
Cankerworm.
and the caterpillar, and the palmer worm, my great army, which I sent among you.
My great army.
So one would have to say that's a combination of all of them in one, literally.
They
You
thinking. I think some people read that and they think that he means that Israel or something. And that's not what that means, because the biblical book tell you who the cankerworm was in Jonah. like against Assyria coming here, Nineveh. They tell you
Nah,
what
I
it
know.
is.
I ain't gonna stop you. You got every right to let it out. Let it
I'm
out.
trying not to.
No, let it out. Let it out. This is something you want to do. I'm like, I want no holds bars, no hold back. Let it out. Because you came a long ways. You know what I'm saying? You've already got carrying that title elder now.
No, I ain't gonna say that. I got some years.
Yeah, but you study for strength. So you getting that strength. If you can see that, I don't see why they can't see that. I mean, really, you know what I'm saying? It's not hard. It's easy, right? And ye shall eat in plenty and be satisfied, and praise the name of the Lord your God that have dealt wondrously with you. And my people shall never be ashamed. Key word, my people. You know, if you're his people, you ain't gonna be ashamed. Now, if you're not his people, maybe you might be ashamed. You know what I'm saying? But the key is my people. My people should never be ashamed. Somebody will say, what is true saying there? I'm separating two sets of people. Those that, yes, are by nature Israel, but they're not the people. They just happen to be bloodline. Okay? They became something else. So he ain't talking about them. He's talking about those that are his people. Shall never be ashamed. Let me pause for a second. Look at the screen because I may have lost you for a second. Oh, Brother E, peace to the show. Peace. That's right. You want to hop on, you can hop on. The link's always there, brother. I wait for Brother Ricardo to come back on. Somehow I wasn't looking at the screen and I lost him. And I'm sure he'll be back. Sure he'll be back. Great 202. You out there anywhere? You want to pop on, brother? Yeah, I'm not talking because I wasn't on the Streamline screen. I was looking at the chapter, and I was like, I'm hearing silence. Brother McCall,
Yeah,
let me check.
yeah.
Brother,
Gotta come back
got dropped
in.
off.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, brother Eric, you can come on, brother. Come on. It's not
Yep.
really
Shalom.
one that's totally against you. I would love to hear your portion though. Even if it comes after mine. But I would like for grade 202, wherever he's at, to hop on. And the other two brothers, I'm sure they're watching somewhere, but they ain't hopping on right now. It's not their time. But like I said, and it should come past. I'm looking at it from the StreamYard view, and I'm also at the same time looking at it from the chapter view. I'm only using one monitor, so I got to scroll back and forth, between the tabs. But when I
Right,
hear
right.
silence, when I hear silence, I gotta go back and check and see if you still on. And you didn't drop off.
Yeah. I'm trying to chat
Because
in it, trying to chat in this comment section.
we are dropping gems,
Oh yeah.
definitely. Like I said, to end the main thing, the Joel chapter 3, verse 6 thing, all I gotta do is put one word there, and it's the end of that. But I'm gonna save it because we're gonna just break the whole thing down. That's what I'm gonna do, and that's what we're
Right.
gonna do. All right, all right. And it shall come to
Mm.
pass afterwards that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions. Surety, surety.
Oh
But at the
yeah.
same time, transliteration errors. But I'm gonna let it slide
Mm.
because nowhere around it. You can't say that didn't happen, and you can't say that that ain't even going on even today. To be honest with you can't really turn around and say that this is something that couldn't possibly be found because if it was to be not found, then we would say, well, any prophet that came after Joel, right,
Mm.
must have been false because guess what? Prophet Joel was talking about this, and then this is what happens when you say, "I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy." Some of those that come up, like Isaiah, is a daughter or son, right, of a
Right.
prophet.
Right.
Amos, right? Jeremiah,
Facts.
right? I mean, it could go on. Ezekiel, I could go on. Isaiah, I could go up. So what that said, fulfilled, fulfilled, fulfilled.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Facts. It's it's
Young
it's
men.
weird. It's weird
Mm-hmm.
though, not to cut you off, but it's just weird back in 2005. And I remember when I first started studying the biblical book, it's like I remember reading these exact verses and thinking to myself, "Oh, this talking about Revelation," you know. But it's now, like you just said, that I have came a long way, and I realize now that in all actuality, it's just the way that you are explaining it now. And it blows my mind that from 2005 to now, that like I said, you stick with the Most High, and he send you wisdom, he send you
Mm-hmm.
teachers, he send you all the skills that you need
Mm-hmm.
to perceive this
Mm-hmm.
if you follow
Exactly.
him.
Yeah, if you gotta be his people. Key word.
Yes,
And my
sir.
people, and my people are called by my name. My people. That's like throughout all of the pronouncements. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it always says Israel. It always says Jacob. They say this and that, but his people is crucial to knowing because
Right,
his people don't necessarily always necessarily specify it just only being Israel.
right.
You know,
Mm,
the sojourners are his people too.
mm,
Okay. And obviously, we know it in his armies, even though they were to us bad, those were part of his servants. We're gonna
right.
see that too. I'm
Oh
not gonna
yeah.
just say that. We're gonna actually show that. You remember when you
Hmm.
brought out earlier in the chat with me with Jeremiah 27, Jeremiah
Right.
33. I mean, we're gonna read those chunks there. I mean, it's gonna
It's there.
validate what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
That's why I was kind of like, I was giving you the love memes or whatever you want to call it on those
Yeah.
because those were keys that unlock even
Mm.
more of the doors. These doors, it's not just one
Emojis.
door. Yeah, yeah. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. Oh man, I just said that, and then I'm saying it right here, huh?
Right. Facts.
And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. I
Mm.
guess Great Tutor was saying, "Oh no, that hasn't happened yet. That hasn't happened
That's in Revelation. That's the last days.
yet." Even though the books of Revelation, right? It has picks chunks from like even say like Joel, picks chunks from Daniel, picks chunks from Isaiah, picks chunks from Zechariah, picks chunks. I can keep going on, going on. So it
Right.
would be easy to write an after effect book of prophecy
Right.
when you take things from Torah and Tanakh and make it fit.
Hmm.
It makes sense, right?
That's exactly what they be doing.
hmm Let me let brother EB on. Brother Basha
That's alone.
L. I think I said it right
Oh,
this time, right?
what's up? What's up? Gosh, yeah, you get it, you get it.
All
Wow.
right. Takes me a while, but I'm gonna get it.
Yeah,
Still awaiting brother grade 202 and my other two brothers, but I know the other brothers. They already told me they weren't going to be on
Bro, you
tonight.
said what?
The other two brothers, they said they wasn't going to be on tonight. They made that specific, which is
Oh, you
good.
talking about 202?
Well, great 202. Well, he usually just pops on, but I don't know what he's doing. He might be in one of those clubhouses rooms or something right now. I don't know, but I was waiting to get in contact with you this week to get your take on the fulfillment. You know what I'm saying? I know you would
You
have
talking about
usually,
Joel 3:6? That's what
yeah.
y'all discussing that still?
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, I didn't
sir.
even get to that part yet, but I'm going to show, when I get there to
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah. When you get there,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
show,
just sit tight and let you
yeah.
break it down.
But I was saying I wanted you to have earlier this week gave your breakdown of it too, because I know how because like I said, I used to be in Christianity, so I know what the Christians say anyway, and I wouldn't have fought it. I would have let it be just to show an example of how things, show as fulfillment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure they would have argued me back and forth. What the heck, man? What?
yeah.
but sometimes you got to use every tool that you can to like teach these guys a few things. And I'm not knocking Brother Aaron and Dodie for their way because they said it was fulfilled too, even though at one point they say it's not fulfilled, and they go back to the double talking. Is it fulfilled or is it not fulfilled? What are you saying?
Yeah,
Go with one
that's
flow.
curve.
But grade 202,
Yeah.
he needs to realize this has been fulfilled, brother. All right. Where did I leave off at? I was reading off of chapter 2, right? Down to the
Right.
portion of 29. Let me go to 30 and 31. I'm almost there. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. Usually it happens almost every time there is a day of the Lord. Am I right? Even if you go in the day of the Lord, if you go into the New Testament, right? When such and such was crucified and on the cross, right? The same
Right.
thing happened, right? Day of the Lord, right? So there,
Right.
nobody could turn around and say, "Oh no." Because the manuscripts all have these things written in, right, for a reason, right? Last verse of chapter 2. All right. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord hath said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call. That's a surety, and no one can say that it's not. And that
Right.
surety, even today and tomorrow, 1,000 years, that's going to be because he has so much mercy for his people, right?
Right. I agree.
I mean, literally, how could one get that misconstrued and think of it as a distinct moment in time when
Thinking of it that one hit wonder.
mhm, this things have taken place then. This took place. I can't say at present because it's kind of hard to say something at present because we can't prove it. And this definitely will take place in the future, in the future of the future, in the future of the future, the future, the future, the future, future. Keep going, infinity, because it's a surety. It's a surety.
Right.
But I'm gonna read it out before we go to the famous chapter 3. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. All right. I mean, as we read at any time throughout the Torah, Tanakh, and if you want to use the New Testament too, use it. That has not happened. Because that would be like kind of like foul of the Most High. You would call on His name and not be delivered. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It would be like, well, that's a major letdown. But
Right.
as long as you can pitch yourself, I mean, that it'd be painful, but it's to let you know you're still living, that you can call on
Yeah.
His name and be delivered from whatever it be that needs, salvation.
Uh-huh.
Nothing you can do. But that's crazy. That ends that 32nd, ends that second chapter.
Right.
Let's move on to the
I'm waiting for you to
main
slice these
meat and bone.
kneecaps.
The main meat and bone. Chapter 3. We witnessed this here, right? I'm not only breaking down just at verse 6, I'm breaking down the entirety. All right.
Right.
But I'm going to stop, because he only said up to verse 6. I'm gonna save something for him to come back with, even though he ain't gonna have nothing to really come back with. But I'm gonna stop at verse 6 for that reason, because that's what he stated. It's only six
Right.
verses here. Only 6 verses here.
On the
Chapter 3.
6.
Mhm. For behold, in those days, which is leading off from the last chapter, and in at that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. You can look at it as turn it over or be another captivity. We know that we was another captivity because of the Persian and Medes captivity after Babylon. Right? We know that. We know that he overturned the captivity of Babylon, so that could fit either way you want to go. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
We can go outside of that and say we know that there was a captivity that came after the exile, Even though they don't want to accept 70 AD, and they don't want to accept the intertestament of the Apocrypha. I don't either, but you know, just to let them know that no matter how you look at it, Alexander the Great conquered the Achaemenid Empire.
Hey, I was reading that today too, man. And I was thinking to myself, a lot of guys don't realize that either. What they
Hmm.
call him, Alexander the Macedonian, what they call
Hmm. Hmm.
him.
I mean,
Crazy.
remember, E, when I stopped you from going beyond
Yep.
the Greeks, I did that
Right.
on purpose, brother. I
Oh, I
did it on
know.
purpose. It wasn't to preclude your thoughts. It's just
Hmm.
because I know how they think.
Oh
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And I know that
Hmm.
because yes, in our heritage of Hebrew writings, the book of Zechariah 14, right, doesn't give us much after that. We'd have to go to other books and et
Right.
cetera, timelines. And I know that's where they were gonna go. So I just left it at that. But historically, we have that in history. We cannot deny it.
Oh
We
yeah.
cannot deprive ourselves of that knowledge. But let's don't bullshit. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of decision, like he said. Anytime he does some form of fashion of a judgment, right? It's usually a valley of decision. But the thing is, when we was talking about from when he said in Ezekiel, that the Magog and Gog thing, Hamagog, that's totally different. It's not the
Right.
same thing. All right. That was just something that was on those
Hmm.
at that time frame. And will plead with them, therefore, my people and for my heritage Israel. You notice that it's two there? For my people and for my heritage Israel. For my people and for my heritage.
Mm.
Both. It's people, which could be sojourners, could be other nations that came out of captivity with the
Hmm.
Israelites, right?
And they usually do.
Yeah, they usually do. Just like in Egypt. It wasn't only just
Hmm.
the Israelites that came out of
Exactly.
Egypt. It was a mixed multitude of the nations.
Yep.
Hmm. Now, these other captivities, guess what? Some of the other nations come out with them. Okay, that became part of his people. For my people and for my heritage, Israel. For my heritage is talking about his inheritance because he says that in he doesn't say that. Moses tells us that in Deuteronomy 32. All right,
Hmm.
whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for the harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Let's be specific now.
Mm.
Yea, and what have you to do with me, O Tyree
Tyree and
in
Zidon.
Zion, and all, this is the key thing, all the coast of Palestine, and all the coast of Palestine, let's say Moab, Ammon, Edom. I don't want to say these names because we're going to read these names when we go through some
Mm.
validation points in other scriptures. Will ye render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because of what? Because you have taken my silver and my gold and
Hmm.
have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. What did they do? They carried into their temples. They didn't say such and such and such and such and such and such that two other brothers got it misconstrued. All right. Because you have taken my silver and my gold and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians that ye might remove them far from their border.
Mm.
That's all I need to go to complete the task of showing fulfillment. Now, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Should I start from Ezekiel 26 that I stated before, or start from, I don't know, Isaiah 23? I
I
mean, I
say
can
go straight for the kneecaps.
I can go everywhere. I'm gonna put that
That's
straight
what I
into the
say
kneecap.
do.
All right, let me pull that out. Brother E, you still follow me, right? Because I'm looking on the
Yeah, I'm
scriptures
still
now.
following you. You can hear me,
All right.
right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You can witness this. You be a good witness to this, and you can help this one out. This one is nobody could alter. Ezekiel 26. All right. And we're trying to determine its fulfillment, right? We already know that the specifics were really referring to, you know, the people of Tyre, the people, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, when you look through history, we're going to find who they actually put the narrow arrows on of Tyre, the narrow arrows of Sidon. You know, that's the ball the third. That's the ball the third. Because he would have been the one that Nebuchadnezzar put that fire on. Gotta all agree with that. But anyway, let me get this Ezekiel 26 out. Cut it right to the core. What's going on with my page here? Did I do something that I can't scroll up to the top? Oh, right here. Boom. Let me know if Ezekiel 26 comes up. Is it there?
And that's it, ain't it?
Yeah. Look back on it. Yeah, it's there. It's there. All right, it's there. Just checking so I can make sure because I'm reading it and I'm also on the different it's called tab. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the first day of the month, that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, because that Tyrus have said against Jerusalem, Aha, she is broken, that was the gates of the people. She is turned unto me, I shall be replenished. Now she is laid waste. All right. Therefore, thus says the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, O Tyrus, and will cause many nations to come up against thee, as the sea causes its waves to come up. And they shall destroy the walls of Tyrus and break down her towers, and I will also scrape her dust from her and make her like the top of a rock. All right.
Huh.
And it shall be a place of spreading nets in the midst of the sea, for I have spoken it, said the Lord God, and it shall become a spoil to the nations. And her daughters which are in the field shall be slain by the sword, and they shall know that I am the Lord. For thus says the Lord God, behold, I will bring upon Tyrus Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, a king of kings from the north,
King
with
of Kings.
horses and with chariots and with horsemen and companies and much people. He shall slay with the sword thy daughters in the field, and shall make a fort against thee, and cast a mount against thee, and lift up the buckler against thee. Now,
Ain't that the canker word?
it's like, I mean, really, going back to Joel 3, right? And I said 4, 5, and 6. I stopped at 6. 6, later on is taken care of because you think about it. We'd have to look at many different chapters and see how really why is the Most High actually really homing in on old Tyrus in the first place? We have to think about that, right? We have to think about that. Why does the Phoenicians and basically like Aaron said the Canaanites stand out so much? Because we
Right.
have scriptures that said there shall be no more Canaanites in the house of Israel, literally, of the worship of Israel. Literally, we know that, right? Because he has I think a problem with the Canaanites. Even you go back even to Genesis, Canaanites. One wouldn't have to know that when Israel first was put into their land, even in Joshua days, the Most High said to them to extinguish, get rid of all of those Canaanites, right? And Israel didn't do it. Didn't do it. The Most High already knew what was going to happen way ahead of time, right? You know, and obviously, that's obviously, that beef. Obviously, you see Tyrus as the name mentioned it, but it's really talk about, Tyrus and Sidon. That's literally saying the Canaanites.
Right.
They can't really be bargained with because they just they have their own ways. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't fit. with the Most High's ways, and it kind of like would actually kind of like mess up the heritage of Israel because we so love with them Canaanites so much. You know what I'm saying? And we follow them and learn their ways because we're not supposed to even make a covenant with them, right? According to Scripture, right?
Right.
This was told in beforehand, before the Israelites was even in the land. Don't make a covenant with these people when you get there, because they sons and their daughters, and you know they're gonna take us away from the Most High, literally, with their thoughts, their ways. You know what I'm saying? I think the
I
Canaanites kind of
actually
messed up all nations, really.
I actually think about that sometimes. It's like, how can a people, be that inclined to twist everything, and be so mischievous to the
Hmm.
point that, you know, God alienates them. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey,
Yup.
you've been familiar with it. I mean, even from a Christian point of view.
Mhm.
What why is the Canaanites, from your perspective, why the Most High just has issues with them, the Canaanites? I mean, I know we don't have to go back to the curse of the thing with Noah's time and all that, but why does he have a severe issue with the Canaanites? You know what I mean?
Well, why the Canaan talking about is according to Zechariah 14 when it says, and no Canaanite shall enter the house of the Lord.
Hmm.
Nah, that's a good question. I would think because um the Canaanites, I want to say they was always worshiping their deity,
Hmm.
or they had some mixing going on. Remember the Canaanites weren't allowed to come in the house of the Lord. I want to say they were those nations in Deuteronomy. Was it 25? I want to say, or 27. Let me go.
Hmm.
Let me see.
Hmm.
Or no, not 25. What was it? Or Deuteronomy 7. Let me see. Uh,
Because right now, what we're doing now is,
yeah.
is the meat and bones side of it. Because I'm still going to drop
Yeah,
the bar.
Deuteronomy 7:1. It says, when the Lord God thy God shall bring thee into the land, whether thou
Hmm.
goest possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations gathered to be mighty now. And when
Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Let me get that. Let me bring it up. Put on the screen.
Deuteronomy
Deuteronomy.
7:1.
And also, hold on aside as a note for me. I'm going to use Exodus 23 too. Just after that, just hold that. Remind me of that. Deuteronomy.
7:1.
Deuteronomy 7.
Hmm.
All right. Pull that up real quick. Did it pop up?
And it
Yep.
seemed
All right. Yeah. Now we're gonna get some meat. We're gonna get some fruit, definitely. Because that question why I asked you that is because it stands out. Like, why Most High? He has it, you know, very bad with them. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land, and I think I said this, whether thou goest to possess it, and has cast out many nations before thee, right? The Hittites, the Girgasites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, is greater and mightier than thou, right?
Right.
7 nations that are mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show no mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter shall not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall you deal with them. You shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. It's funny that that statement there, which you gave, E, that's right on the nose.
Mm,
That answers the question that I asked clearly. It
right.
answers it. And looking at these nations here, the Hittites, the Girgashites, and the Amorites, you know that the Amorites, original Amorites, right, made up Babylon.
Mm. Right.
So, so that's trying to tell you something, Dan. Even they do them damn Canaanites, man, and all those fucking nations, man, messed up a whole lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? I think brother Hard Job used to say about the
Mhm.
Canaanite god El, right? That's funny
Yep.
what the Canaanite El and all that's the Canaanite Yahweh. Didn't the Canaanites call named Abraham, you know, saying the Hebrew? You know,
You
ain't that
say
the same?
say it again, true.
Didn't the Canaanites wasn't the Canaanites the ones that called Abraham a Hebrew? They put that label on him.
I'm not sure about that one.
The
Yeah,
Canaanites called they put
the label a Hebrew on Abraham. That saying.
I don't know about that saying. I
Let me
know
see. Let me see. Abraham being called
I know they used to flock to him and try to
being
serve him.
called a Hebrew. Now I'm paraphrasing it now. Uh, yeah, it's basically Abraham was called the first Hebrew, which probably means to cross over because he was supposedly so blah blah blah. But who called him that? Who called him that? Oh, here it goes. Genesis 10:21. Hebrew therefore simply means Eberite, much in the same way that the Canaanite means Canaan. Right? And people of Canaan actually were the ones that called Abraham the Hebrew.
Mm.
They basically gave him that title. But obviously he was obviously an Eberite, regardless of it. But the Canaanites, you know, you gotta be very, you know, critical looking at them. But we know that the reason why the most high don't not like the Canaanites. It's so weird.
Mm.
It's so true. But yeah, getting back to what I was saying, right?
yeah, and
Straight
they
up.
true that and then the word I was looking at some the word Canaanite mean what also is a good way to look at it too. That word Canaanite it meant descendant of Canaan, descendant, and I'm looking at the Browns driver, um, well, the Briggs driver, I don't know, Browns driver Briggs, I think that's what he said, the BDB. Uh, it says descendant inhabitant of Canaan, descendant inhabitant of Canaan, and it can mean a merchant or a trader, because that's where Canaanites were. So
Mm-hmm.
it
Right.
could be that it could be symbolizing something also, so
Traders and
but
everything.
but Canaanites, but we know
Africans.
Canaanites were they were heck I want to say that was the Zidonians, they were Canaanites too. Well, no,
Yeah,
they were
Yep.
yep, they
they were
were.
yeah, they were Canaanites too.
Yep.
So
Sons.
it's
Sons of
interesting
Canaan.
that
Sons of Canaan.
yeah, sons of Canaan, the
Mm-hmm.
Tyrian Zidonians. So
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes, sir.
and they were
Phoenicians.
and we know that they were like merchants and they were considered a wealthy nation.
Mm-hmm.
So
You gotta think
could that
about it.
be pointing to something?
You got to think about it, right? And we're going to probably go through some scripture chunks. Even the Edomites dealt with some of the doings with the Canaanites. Not saying that they did like meaning as a wicked nation or anything. I'm just saying it as the Canaanites, traded with damn near every one. Period. You know,
Mhm.
they were like terrible traders. You're gonna get a you bring something, say from the house that's very important. It ended up in the Canaanites' hand. The dudes traders. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go find your
Mhm.
shit, go find a Canaanite. They got it.
Charging interest.
Mm-hmm.
Everything the biblical text tells not to do, they do it. Did it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The holy of the holies, you know what I'm saying? If they could get their hands on it, right? They actually with the Ark of the Covenant, right? You probably find it
Mhm.
in the hand of a Canaanite.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? I think people turn around and say, well, the Ark of the Covenant can be found in Ethiopia now. They found it in Ethiopia. But I have to say, looking at these scripture chunks, you'd be better off looking at in a Canaanite country, Phoenicia. You know what I'm saying? You'll probably find it shit hidden in plain sight.
Right.
It's crazy. But it gets me. Let me go back to Ezekiel 26. Uh, just to pull like some chunks. Let's go before we do that. You want to add something? Anything you want to add, brother? You know I'm gonna say E. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
you call me E. It's all good. I will
Mm,
say, I guess I'm trying to be clear. You're trying. You see the scripture of Joel 3 and 6 pointing to Babylon, specifically by using Ezekiel 25 and 26, right?
I see it specifically of the you know saga portion because Babylon makes the actual first attempt to do whatever to deal with them, etc.,
Hmm.
etc. Obviously, he didn't completely conquer out Tyre. 'Cause, you know, at the end, it goes to the point where Alexander does it too. Well, that's what it's Zechariah 14. That's why I was saying it's not that was done via Babylon itself by
Hmm.
itself. No,
Yeah, you
it's
see it as
community.
a continual, like a continual thing when you read Ezekiel when he said that all these nations they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna come upon you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's good. I see it the same way, but to me, I see it a little bit different because in Joel, it's specifically saying what nation that's gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mhm. And then
So I I
in all
see, and
in
I just
all
let
reality, we're gonna probably address that too because we're gonna go to another prophet too, and that prophet is also gonna
right.
reiterate exactly why I'm saying what I'm saying, and at that
Yeah,
point, he's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
name
yeah.
names. You know what I mean?
But I just let the cat out the bag. I think when you said Alexander the Great, I think that have a lot to do with this scripture. That's why I see it like that, that he was the one that fulfilled it. But I know, like Dodie, I don't know about you, they don't subscribe to, the Maccabean revolts and
Mm-mm. No.
they don't,
Like
you know what I'm
like I
saying?
said,
But to me,
without even having to use that. I mean, I can see from the door off the bat, you know, that Alexander through history, I learned that in school. You know, he conquered such and
yeah, he
such. I
conquered.
mean, yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
there's no
what
way
I'm
around
saying,
that.
yeah, but I think like when you read it, it makes sense why, to me, well, just to me, I'm not gonna put it on y'all, but when you read it, it makes sense to me why it had to be the Greece, because we can't get around Greece. It's in
Mhm,
there, so we
mhm.
just can't get around that. But it's just how you look at the scripture, I guess, will kind of
That's
help.
why it's a long stretch. When I say long stretch, I mean Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar starts it, right? He kills the actual king of that time frame for the conquering to begin. After he does that you got to consider that as being conquered. Tyre was conquered by the Babylonians. All right. Obviously, they after conquering, obviously he did not completely destroy Tyre. That goes to Alexander the Great. That part goes credit to that. But that's why it goes from that's long stretch from Ezekiel 26 over to the latter prophet of Zechariah 14. That's why it goes there. That's why I said that. Anything outside of that, like I said, would be like through Maccabees and Intertestament, what you say, history that Great 202 does not see. If he doesn't see that when history is stating that, I mean, what else do we do
Mhm.
to confirm these things? Because, like I said, I don't really have to use history. I can use descriptions and implication. And when I
Right.
say implication, I'm saying because the word of the Most High's own mouth, basically telling you these things. And if you were to be going against that implication, then you kind of like saying you don't believe nothing that the prophets have already
Exactly.
stated, and that's something different. If you like that, then you don't believe what the prophets are stating. You don't have to worry about what I'm
Exactly.
saying. You don't have to worry about what you're saying. You don't have to worry about what you know. What I'm saying you have to be saying that you don't believe what the Most High is saying. That's something different.
Right. And I got
You
a
get what I'm saying?
problem with that. Tell you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So you're not wrong or off when you're saying what you're saying. I agree with you what you're saying actually. Obviously the other two are not because they're worried about it pointing to, you know, what they're thinking that it's pointing to. You get what I'm saying? And that's what their problem is. Anything that points to that, they're gonna stay away from that. You get what I'm saying? And I understand that. But you're dealing with me. I could deal with it all angles because I'm not really no problems with that. Like I said in my last thing, after when Daniel 12 says the abomination of desolation, none of that really matters to me. You know what I'm saying? Because it could be valid or it don't be valid. I know that we're under the abomination of desolation at this point, so it don't matter. You get what I'm saying?
Mm.
I don't have no problems with with history and none of that. But let's go to I don't know. Let me see here. Let me get back on the screen. What I have up there last is that Deuteronomy chapter 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did I say? Exodus 23. I told you to hold a marker on that. Let me go there. This should be similar to that. Same thing. What you reiterated. E. All right. Let me see here.
What? Repeat that, True. My bad. I missed you. What you say?
Remember I said for you to hold something when I was looking for the Deuteronomy 7. Then I said
Yeah.
for you to save Ezekiel Exodus 23, something like that.
Yeah.
Was it 23 that I said hold? Let's see.
Yeah. I think you said Exodus 23.
I'm going to read to this.
Why are you
I, re-
doing that? Stop
I,
doing that.
I
My
read
bad. I was
from
talking to my wife.
I read from maybe 20 to 25. This is pertaining to the Canaanites, really.
Okay.
Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in thy way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thy enemies and an adversary unto thine adversaries. For my angel shall go before thee and bring thee in unto the Amorites, those same names, remember? And the
Right.
Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Canaanites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, right? Nor serve them, nor do after their works, but thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images. And you shall serve the Lord your God, and you shall bless thy bread and thy waters. But basically, that's telling you, and it's also reiterating why he does not like those Canaanites. All right,
Right.
in the verse you put, it told us why, and in this verse, it's telling us why. Thou shalt not bow to them their gods, nor serve them, or do after their works. Mhm. And I think when Joshua comes upon the situation when the Israelites, after Joshua, I should say, or a little bit, I think in Judges 1, some of our own did not utterly destroy those Canaanites, and they later on bite us in the ass. Okay? They bite us in the ass. Right? And then we get to David's time, right? Solomon's time, deals are made with them. And didn't it not
Solomon.
say, did it not say in Deuteronomy, do not make any covenants with them?
Solomon took a wife up from him too.
Mm, am I right?
Oh yeah.
Those Canaanites, man. And it goes back to like, they deal in all different type of bad deeds. So think about Tyree and Sidon. They're Canaanites. All right. They're Canaanites. They were probably involved in a whole lot of treachery. They probably was so far back, you can go back even to the time frame of the Egyptian captivity. All right.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, there might even be those famous Hyksos. We don't know. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. Because we don't really read too much informative information throughout the scriptures about the Hyksos. But we do know that, you know, they had to be driven out of Egypt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm not saying that they were, because I don't want nobody to come back and say, True said that the Hyksos were Canaanites. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Right.
But we do know that the Canaanites had bad dealings throughout. I mean, probably even tribe of Dan had dealt with Canaanites. You know what I mean, come on now. It's something that's like Most High didn't like with them. But obviously, like I said, the thing is, right, when we look at the word uh Canaanite in there and we put on Tyre and Sidon, literally those were specifics of the ones
Uh-huh.
of Canaan that, that he took his recompense out on. And obviously that was fulfilled, literally fulfilled. That I can say that literally fulfilled. Not me taking it, you taking it as we assuming and not we, you know what I'm saying? We thinking, no, that was fulfilled that way. Period. Okay?
Right.
That was fulfilled that way. But let me go back real quick to that Joel thing. You gotta bear with me because I'm using, like I said, one monitor, not two. Where I can look at it side by side. Right? Joel 3. It's a point. Keyword here. When you look at the language, right? And you look at the language, right? Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Sidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Because he's talking in that language of something that they've done in the
Uh-huh.
past anyway. Okay? These things were done in the past. This is not it's no way it could be future if he's talking in the past, reciprocal, right? Literally. Verse 6. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold. It's in the past. Okay? That's by
Right.
implication. We don't have to find anywhere written where any Greek or Grecian or Ionian or such and such received any, children of Judah. We don't need to because have ye sold, right?
Right.
It's
It
already
says it.
telling you that it's a past event.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I mean, would you disagree with that, E? I mean,
No, I don't disagree with that. Yeah,
well,
it's past
yeah.
tense.
I mean, let's make it.
Uh-huh.
Let's make it future. Let's just change the words to make it future. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem, you will sell unto the Grecians. All right. It's not saying that. It's telling you it's a past situation. So, like, literally, that's all I really needed to drop the bomb on that. With it's based off of that, without even showing any scriptures. It's just that
Hmm.
reverse itself. It implicates it. It implicates it. It implicates it. All right. Now let's look into more further history. Let's go to what you want to start at? Jeremiah, brother Bakar?
Yeah, I say Jeremiah.
Hey, True, can I add something too?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I was also, I think we have to consider too, and it's not just Tyree and Zidon, right? It
Mm-hmm.
says, when we back it up to verse 4, it says, what have you to do with me, Tyree and Zidon, and all the
And
coast of
right,
Palestine?
right, right,
So
right.
it's not just Tyree and
Facts.
Zidon. There's
Mm-hmm.
more nations.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
So I think
You might
that
well
we got to
Jeremiah.
put that in consideration. Yeah, so we got to put that in consideration too. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
Tyree and Zidon, it's the whole coast of
Mm-hmm.
Palestine
Exactly.
that's doing this.
Right. Because you know what? Even let's just say even Babylon. When I say even Babylon, Babylon, they dealt with some of the trading with Tyree and Sudan. You know what I'm saying? They might have been to be funny about it. The calamity might have started from that trade, meaning like they might have traded with them so much that it gave them a clue that, oh man, you know what? There's some valuables inside of Jerusalem, you know what I'm saying,
Uh-huh.
that we need to get our hands on. You get what I'm saying? That might have put them in that mindset to go conquer Jerusalem. Although, like I said, the credit always goes to the Most High because he illustrates all the operation. He causes the calamity.
Right.
Okay, so you know what I'm saying. But I guess none of the brothers are going to see that because they're too far, worried about their narratives. At first, it's like, this saga is deep. You can get drama out of this saga if you think about it, right?
Wasn't it one of the kings of Judah that invited one of the
Wow, you ready to
them
hit
to
the
the
nose? I
palace
know
to
you.
see
I know you ready to hit the
was it?
nose. I know you. I know you. He's going to tell us in, I believe, this particular chapter here. Zedekiah? Is that what you're talking about? That one king?
Might have been Zedekiah.
Hmm.
Might have brushed up on that a
That's
little
funny.
bit more.
All right, there we go. We got Jeremiah chapter 27. In the beginning of the reign, though, we got
There
a
you go.
timeline, right? We got a timeline. Nobody could deny. We got a timeline. In the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, came this word unto Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, okay? Thus said the Lord to me, make thee bonds and yokes and put them upon thy neck and send them to the king of Edom. There, you can go there, get some of that. We read from Amos 1, the
Uh-huh.
contemporary of Joel. And to the king of Moab, naming nations, huh? And to the king of the Ammonites, and to the king of Tyrus, and to the king of Zidon. By the hand of the messengers, we come to Jerusalem unto Zedekiah, king of Judah. Wow. Do
Right.
you think what I'm thinking? Do you think what I'm thinking? Zedekiah, he has some to do with some things too.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
Well, it's implicating it here. Naming names and implicating it. And command them to say unto their masters, thus said the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, thus shall you say unto your masters. Go back and tell all of these right here. All right?
Uh-huh.
I have made the
Facts.
earth, the man, and the beasts that are upon the ground by my great power and my outstretched arm. And I have given it unto whom it seemed meet unto me. And now I have given all these lands into the hands of who? Of Nebuchadnezzar,
Nebuchadnezzar.
the king of Babylon. And what is he? My servant. And the beasts of the fields have I given him also to serve him. He's given them, Tyree. He's
Mm.
given them, man. He gave them. He
Right.
gave them. Hmm?
Wish I had one of them Saw Nettle sound bite dropping the bomb.
In all nations, right?
That's funny.
In all nations shall serve him. And all nations shall serve him. I wonder does the American nation serve him? I wonder does Mexico serve? No, they don't, right? Because that ain't a part of that locality. But those nations,
Oh.
those ones that we said, those coasts, those are those nations, right? And all nations shall serve him, and his son's son, until the very time of his land come. And then
Uh,
many nations and great kings shall serve themselves of him. Right? And it shall come to pass that the nation and kingdom which will not serve the same Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and that will not put their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon, that nation will I punish, saith who? Most High, with the sword and with famine
right.
and with pestilence until I have consumed thee by his hand. Whose hand? Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, man. Nebuchadnezzar wasn't no joke, man. He was
Yes,
taking
sir.
over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tearing everybody up.
Hmm.
more, what you call validation points to validate. Figure 26, validation points. I mean, I really don't see much that I need to do or we need to do to just show, like I said, that was fulfilled during those times. I mean, like I said, I'm only stopping at Joel 6, because this is what the brother man stated and put the limits on. Going beyond
Right.
that, that's a whole different topic and meaning. And I would hope that from this point on, that he could go back into one of those clubhouse groups, whatever that one that he was in, maybe open something up and then and shut their shit down. Because he came out
Exactly.
of there with the opposite of what he should have came out there with.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
sir.
Hmm. See, and then
Unfortunately.
to me, it's kind of hard to put Joel 3:6 in the future because um when you read it, what was it? When we go back to Joel, right?
hmm
Uh 3:1.
I'm gonna go back
Is
there. I'm gonna
it
go back there. Go back
yeah.
there. Because at this point now, we pretty much this is covered. This is done. We're gonna stab a knife in this one. We're gonna have fun with it. We'll read
Big
some scripture
time.
chunks. Yeah. All right, I'll go to Joel 3. Bear with me. Is it up there now? Just make sure it's up there.
Yeah, it's up there.
All right. You gotta bear with me because like I said, I'm using one
No,
monitor.
it's all good because I was looking at the scripture myself, so I wasn't even looking.
hmm
So when you go back, because Joel 3:1 is talking about the Most High returning the captivity and bringing Judah and Israel back to Jerusalem, right? But
hmm
when he's doing this, right, supposedly it's supposed to be all nations. He's gonna bring them to the valley of Jehoshaphat to plead with my heritage Israel, who they scattered. So
hmm
they scattered, right? But to me, how I see it, they're still scattered, but when you get down to verse 4,
hmm
it seems to me that he's using these nations as an example, right?
hmm
Of the scattering.
Exactly.
Right. So but when you so but when you go back down to verse 8, he's gonna raise them up, right,
Well,
out
you
of the
know the
land.
reason why my boss said
Oh,
he
we don't want to
only
go
went
to
to
verse 8?
yeah,
We going
then we
you
don't
don't
want to get
okay.
we don't want to
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
don't want
Then
to
I
you know
don't
what I'm
want to
saying.
jump. I don't want
We
to
don't
jump.
want to
I
get
don't
too
want to jump
deep
in.
into it because now what I'm saying we gotta face us first on what he
Yeah,
stated. Get
all right.
that one
Yeah,
clear.
cool, cool,
That
cool.
tablecloths need to be changed. New forks and spoons, utensils need to be put out, and et cetera, et cetera.
Sausage.
Yeah, well, I won't jump ahead. To me, it's just hard for me to put this in the future because one, with the even with um verse 6, even with the Grecians, right? I mean, so you're gonna like, are the Grecians, is Tyre and Zidon right now? Are they gonna sell the children of Israel when they're scattered? Are they gonna sell them to the Grecians?
True.
Like when they're already scattered. So I just leave it at that. To me, it's
All
just
right.
it's hard for me to put that
Let's
in.
play with a little bit. Let's play with a little bit of the Alexander the Great conquering of these guys. We know that
Oh,
Tyree Sudan today, right? And as far as that populated city of that we talk about now is known as Lebanon, right? And
Hmm.
that old time.
there's a site that you can actually like go and visit, I should say, or you can look up in the story books and everything.
Hmm.
That is still in its standing as it was when Alexander destroyed it. Even though they tried to
The old
rebuild,
time.
yeah, they tried to
Hmm.
rebuild stuff on there, but it's still a wasted site. The seed site is wasted
Hmm.
to this
Right.
day. So if that's to be future, right? And the thing about when people use future as the example of something that wasn't fulfilled, there's no way to actually prove it because guess
Hmm.
what? We can't prove it in our days unless it happened in our days. So saying future is just like just giving a generic answer. That doesn't mean anything. You can't prove future, so leave future alone. Let's go with what we can prove. You know what I'm saying? And just
Yeah.
like history,
Right.
history doesn't necessarily show everything because they haven't found everything archaeologically to go with the Bible. They haven't found everything, and they're still working on that now. As new
Hmm.
discoveries
Right.
come up, it becomes history. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I agree.
And then
So,
and then even if like I know Aaron's one of them and other brothers, they don't believe Jerusalem is the Holy Land, right? Well, modern day right now, right? They believe it's somewhere else. That's cool. but still we have to get that it's giving us a sense of direction when they're naming the Grecians. Like, I know
Mm-hmm.
some brothers think that the land is in Africa or whatever, but we know the Grecians. When we hear the word Grecians, we gotta point to Europe, you know,
Mm-hmm.
not
Uh-huh.
Africa. I don't think nobody in Africa history is calling themselves a Grecian. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
So even if brothers think that that land is in South Africa, they're telling they they think that you're gonna sell all the brothers and like you're gonna remove them from South Africa and take them all the way up to. Not saying it can't happen, but I'm just saying
Yeah,
this is
anything's
future.
possible can happen. There's
Yeah,
no doubt.
but just saying if this is future, they're gonna take all those people that's if the land is in South Africa or whatever, people that think it's in America, they're gonna take them from America or South Africa and bring them all the way to Grisha,
Mm.
like the Tyree and Zidon. You
You
get what I'm
gotta ask,
saying? They're gonna bring them all.
you gotta
That's
ask
why
this
it don't
question.
make sense, man.
You gotta ask this question, right? And all of us could
Yeah.
answer this. How long do we hold on something that's prophesied already to be something that's going to be in the future? How many more years do we need to add to it for it to come about? Do we add another 50 years to it to see if it happens, or 100 years to it to see if it happens, or 1,000
Yeah.
years? Or how long are we going to hold on to that?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm
Yeah.
Right.
saying? And
Yeah.
Right.
not face it.
Right.
Yeah.
Even like the 400-year big thing that everybody was talking about, I mean, how long do we hold on to that and not let it go? You get what I'm saying? I mean,
Hmm.
I agree. It sounds good, sweet water, but we have to face certain things and just let it go. You know what I mean? I have wishful thinking too, hopeful thinking thoughts too, but we got to be honest, okay? Got to be honest,
Right.
and as long as brothers don't be honest with themselves and they hold on to, that's why I says, you know, we're gonna all go to the grave, you know. And if you ask these questions about certain things, we're gonna see it in our time. If a guy can't say absolutely yes, he's gonna see it in his time, then pretty much let it go. Let it go. Let it go. There's no prophet that would even talk about something 10 million years from now. If they do talk about it, it wouldn't be a prophecy, it would be a surety, not no
Right.
prophecy. You know what I mean? Brother Vicar, we could just keep on going. We want to know another spot. You know what I'm saying? We can do it.
Right.
We got all different spots that we can go to and touch on. But
Uh-huh.
like I said, this particular table, it's empty now. We cleaned it all off. We put a new tablecloth on. Put out new utensils, new plates, new cups.
Yeah, pretty much. That dinner's done.
Mhm. And I know they're gonna later after they watched it, they're gonna come back and say, "Oh, he was bulletized. He used brother car. He used brother EP. They were just making up some things and this and that." And come on now,
Jeremiah
give it
ain't
up,
even gonna
brothers.
lie.
Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. And I like that kind of discussion anyway. I mean, really, the Joel 3 thing was a great discussion. All right, very great. But unfortunately, it was not something that's really complex. It's hard. It's the easy street, to be honest with you. But like I said, inside of like your TikTok and some of those, like you said, in those clubhouse, it might be complex to them. But here it's easy street shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't like I said, I don't think we should take the credit for the first one to realize this because go back to Josephus. We have to accept it. Even Josephus, even though, you know, he's a heathen, even though he might not even been who he say he was, even though it might be some stuff that's twisted and made up within it. Even though he
Uh-huh.
said that, guess what? Even he the shit was fulfilled.
Right. Yeah,
You
the
know what I
strong
mean?
points.
But one thing I don't do, I do not handicap people's belief system. I rather hit it directly with it, with scripture and scripture and my own uh sources versus just straight up handicap. You know what? We're not gonna see tomorrow. I got proof of it. Is tomorrow here yet? We can't prove that until tomorrow comes. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
But these guys create those handicaps on things that can't be proven, like at the spur of the moment. I'm not saying that dumb guys, it's not just dumb guys, a whole lot in the Torah only world and even in the New Testament world. Everybody's doing that. That's like, what is that?
Right.
Some cool trend now? What are we gaining from doing that?
I think like that was like always a phase among Israel. Some group will always create this narrative to get us to doubt, the Most High, and get us to sway away from Him. So that's what I see.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, eat. It's your turn. You're up to bat. You want to? I guess you want to for next week bring up a new subject matter, and we can all start on it. You know what I mean? This is
I know.
let's
Yeah, I mean, if
start.
we want to switch it up, if they want to, if somebody else got a different position, they want to bring it back up. I know they're not on today. I'm down
Yeah. But like I
to come
said,
back.
as far as that, I'll put it on hold. But I don't think they should bring it up. Well, I'm saying let's bring a whole total different level left field new topic of discussion
Mm.
like, that needs to be addressed. So something that's trending. That you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, that's
That's a lot
fair.
of stuff trending.
And do it in a brotherly, without arms. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own persuasion, and let's hear it from each one's perspective, literally,
Hmm.
without any, you know what I'm saying, any handicap on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
I'll let you, whatever you want to come up with. Then you can open it up tonight. We're not going to definitely address it all tonight because we done did sufficient 2 hours and 32. Let's kill out the next 30 minutes or 28 minutes with a whole new topic. You know what I mean? Put your thinking cap on. Think of something. I'm sure you know that's something that trends. That was
Yeah, you
trending.
already know that's a big one in our community. Jesus, who's the savior, who uh well, it could be a lot of stuff, man. Whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's a
But
lot trending though. It really is.
Hmm.
I'm a hardcore, Jesus person. And I know y'all don't subscribe, but even if y'all want to dialogue with that, and we don't gotta
We can dialogue. Like I
yeah.
said,
We
I
could
can
dialogue,
dialogue
I
with
don't mind.
pretty much any persuasion. You know what I'm saying? You see me. I was in one of those Islamic rooms. You know how that went,
Mm.
right?
I ain't seen the Islamic room.
A black like couple, maybe a year or so back. I
I
think,
think I seen you in one of them before.
yeah. But the guys, they got some good tools of their way they handicap, boy, to try to, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, they
to,
do.
to, to keep me from getting my crap off. And if you don't fit in their
Mm.
thing, they boot you out. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. But I like clean dialogue. Keep me in. You know what I'm saying? You attack me, let me get to throw my arms out too. Don't put me out there, blackball me, and then sell some bullshit.
Mm.
Well,
Right.
let's think about this one. Here's a good one. Do you think that the modern Arabs, right, that we see now are of the Ishmaelites?
Oh, I
Are
just
the
read up
are the
on that
are the
today.
Ishmaelites?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question.
I was just reading up on that today too. That's funny.
Mm-hmm. This one is gonna go deep because now brothers are gonna have to really use these
That's gonna
scriptures
get
now.
touchy.
They're gonna
Hmm.
have to really use these scriptures now.
That's gonna really get
Hmm.
touchy right there.
Like the modern Arabs that we see now, hmm are they from
Well,
Ishmael?
yeah. I guess who you think are the Arabs, because the people in Iran in that area, I don't think they're Ishmaelites. I think they're Shemites.
I do too.
You do,
Mm.
see? Yeah, see, I think they're Shemites. I think they come from Persia.
Mm,
Elamites. It's Semites,
Mm,
mm.
right?
yeah, I think they Shemites, but
Oh man, they're right
it's
on
just
the
who
nose,
you
right?
think who Ishmaelite. Yeah,
But they
Mhm.
do though. They do their worship persuasion is Islam though. That's the part that's like
yeah, right.
crazy.
Islam, but
hmm
hmm
It's crazy. Which goes back with that further deep down in the Joel thing where it says that those Greeks will be sold to the Sabians. Sabians. The Sabians happens to be those that literally came up from
hmm
Persia, who are now, right,
Right.
literally, even like those ones that we say, the Dead Sea Scrolls and Nazarenes and all that stuff like that, which is
Oh
so weird.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, that's why that's a very good one, very good one. The Arabs that we have nowadays, where did they come from? Where did they source from? You know, what connection of Ishmael are they really? Or are they just not even nothing to do with Ishmael? It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one.
yeah, yeah.
so,
But I'm
so,
gonna get
so,
up out of here, man.
hmm
hey,
Oh, you had
Carl.
a question, bro? Well, I can stay if you had it.
No. I'm just saying
Yeah,
because
I'm
I'm
a,
just saying that we'll start off next week with that topic. Iron sharpens iron. See what we can come up
yeah,
with.
I'm gonna keep it in the bag till you if y'all talk about that topic there.
hmm
But I,
And
but
that
I
and
was
this is one of the topics that I would actually be very very weak on outside of scripture. Only thing I could use is scripture. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it's very limited of pointing to what the Ishmaelites growed into. But I know like the Sabians, the Mandanes, and all that stuff. That was easy when you said what you said with that. Or that you right
Yeah,
on the money with that Sabians. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
But those
yeah,
are not actually not Ishmaelites though.
yeah.
Those
I
were
believe,
actually
yeah, that,
Persians.
yeah. I think they were, yeah, they were Persians. Yep.
oh yeah.
Yeah, but all right, man. I'll tap in with y'all. Hopefully, if y'all come on tomorrow or next week, I'll give
Mhm.
you just hit me in my back chat tree.
Yeah, well, I'll save tomorrow for like the other two brothers if they want to come back with
Yeah, if
something.
they
But
get on, I'll
I
drop
don't
on
think
just
they
to
have
hear
anything they
how
can
you
come
feel.
back with. But I'll leave it open for them.
They might. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
might. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, but
yeah.
if they come back, I hope
They
they
gonna
come
have some
back not
more.
just not to just to
They'll
try
come.
to troll, but come back with something that's meat and fruit. That's what I want them to come back.
Yeah,
Meat and
man.
fruit.
You can't. Yeah, you know they gonna bring it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, shalom, family. Yeah, man, I'm gonna holler at y'all, man.
Hey, Kwame.
All right,
All right.
all right, brother Picard. We got like 16 minutes. We could pretty much whatever you want to do. You know.
Yeah, might as well go ahead and close out, I guess. Hey, it was a good top of the study and nuke dropping.
Mhm.
very, very good. I liked it.
Mhm.
It also challenged me to study a little more, and I actually do need to start studying a little more because I study, but I don't study as much as I can, But yeah, it was
No,
good.
but you did good. You did good. You did a hell of a lot.
Right,
Especially when we're reading between some of these things, you can pull from. It's not when somebody says cherry picking. That's one thing,
right,
but you're not cherry picking for things to fit your narratives. You're actually looking for the clues that
right.
coincide with, not
The
cherry pick. Cherry
precepts.
picking is totally precept. Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly, yeah, exactly. But like I said, when it comes down to this new topic that's coming up, I'm going to be just as equal on the on the grounds as everyone else. Literally, only thing I have is just scripture. That's it. And like
Right,
that
right,
little bit of historical background. Because when it comes down to anything to do with Islam, I would have to bring up Brother Allen on that because
right,
he's very knowledgeable in that section. And not saying that other brothers are not. It's just that the only way to really iron out a few things, specifically, like say even like modern Egypt. We know that those are not the Egyptians, the modern Egypts. We know
right,
that.
right.
We know that a lot of these places are now, not exactly who they was as far as the ancient days. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Right.
Shit, some of us that's so profound with the Torah are not actually Israel either. But I ain't
Oh
gonna say
yeah.
nothing about that. But the clues are easy to give it away when it comes down to like how much they know. Because I can
Yeah. Right.
pretty much
Exactly. How much they
call it out.
deny.
So that would be good. But yeah,
Right.
we can pretty much put closure
Yeah.
on this one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Like,
I guess I'll say my closing then. Much respect to Israel. Much respect to the elders, the ancients. You know what I'm saying? The ones in this walk and this truth that help the younger generation carry the baton and move the goalpost. Respect to the Hebrew fam and then the words of Alan how do you say it?
Elder Tobe.
Etta told
Mm-hmm.
Etta told Qua Bakwa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brother Allen will be back with us shortly. He will be back. He'll be back roaring like a lion. Well, he has his symbol as a tiger, but he's gonna be roaring like a lion. He'll be a tiger, a tigre, la tigre.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm. I seen Brother Yasser back in the gallery, so he's aware that we're back on the air, so he should be popping up too.
Shalom, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right, and Brother Smashing Idol, he'll be here. He'll be here.
Yep.
So you don't have to worry. Brother Eli.
Shalom, Eli.
He's going through a few things, but I'm sure he'll be back.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even worried.
Yes, sir.
But other than that, I'm gonna just say my shaloms. Just have a knife in this one.
It's done.
Peace.
What do you want? I'm gonna kill you, you bastard!
It's the Juk. All you see is crooks. Shout out to Havoc, good looking on the beat. Forever P. Street life was good. About to go in, son. Look, red bones and red bottoms. Like Red Bull, we gon' give them wings, we red dot them. Candy rappers, send them in, we red hot them. Headshot them, go against migraine, get head problems. Big dummy garbage rappers, we red fox them. Shoot an actor in high depth and red box them. Tip the scales in my favor, stay in your top 10. If life's like a triple beam, I'm weighing my options. Y'all like wild meth, you high meth. Keep a big popper, cause I ain't ready to die yet. I digress, or I'm just too intense to digest. Stretched in a Pyrex, compliments to my chef. Game ain't been the same since I left. Is they really crooks or just a pain in my neck? Wu-Tang, ain't no lanes in my set. Fresh pair of Nike Airs, I just do it for my check. I'll be the first to tell these rappers, get your bars up. Shout to P, you know it's havoc when we mob up. I tell that smut, date over, pull your drawers up. Cigar guts, all up in the club, putting squad up. Throw your squad up. Throw your squad up. Throw your squad up. Cigar guts, all up in the club, putting squad up.
I swoop in, shooting like I'm paratrooping. We all in, we riding, we carpooling. My whole crew, we diving, we platooning. Salute me or shoot me, Huey P. Newton. Your buffoonery is quite amusing. This is not monkey business, stop cooning. It's a method to my madness, I know what I'm doing. There's a reason.